And we are live. Welcome to another Super Galactic Saturday. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for your time. It's another beautiful Saturday morning. And we're going into fall weather now. It's getting cooler. It's overcast out here, but it's still sunny California. And like they say, any day above ground is a good day. And today is definitely a good day. And I'm thankful. And I'm here with Jerry Jr.
Good morning.
and with Hero Geek as a special guest.
Good afternoon here.
And we're here. We don't have any topics because, you know, we just don't. But we're going to stream anyway and talk and discuss. And I think a lot of you may already know kind of what we're going to touch on. So, but I'll let you start, Hero Geek. What's on your mind, man? What do you want to talk about?
Well, just I guess been thinking a lot about the complacency of a fandom. Uh, I've made several posts about it on X. I don't know if you've read those or taken a look at those, but I've been
I
pretty
have, yeah.
critical
Do you
about
want to
it.
elaborate on what you mean?
Well, okay, so I guess the most immediate example is the reaction from like the Superman and the Fantastic Four film movies, right?
Yeah.
Um, Now, everything that I've seen, I mean, ever since it was going into production, I never trusted that these movies were going to be any good or they were going to be true to the characters or the legacy of these Fantastic Four, Superman. I never trusted it. I never trusted James Gunn. Never, 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 never. Right? I was like, no, no, just no. Right?
Right. Yeah.
Uh, some people might say that's me being, very jaded, very cynical, very negative. Um, and maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. Maybe I've just become just so apathetic about this stuff
Yeah.
that it maybe it affects my view. I don't know, but
Yeah.
uh,
I mean, that's fair, but I don't think it's without merit. Like it's people are say that. And I've heard people comment that, oh, you're just jaded. Don't let that. And it's like, yeah, but it's beyond just being jaded. It's like this is a natural consequence of their specific actions, right? It's like you can't keep telling smacking somebody in the face, and then when they finally punch you back, you go, why'd you punch me? Right? It's like because you kept smacking me,
yeah.
right? You can't
Now,
get mad that I used a fist instead of a hand, right? Like, you don't get to choose the consequences, right? And this is what's happening with these comic book companies, the media companies. They've been producing slop, right? We keep hearing that term about AI, right? I don't call AI slop, and I don't because it is what it is, right? And in the hands of talented people, it can be something awesome, and it
yeah.
is. But it's like we've been getting slop from Hollywood without the AI,
Hmm.
right? And people have picked up on it, and they're like us, and we're tired of it. And so now it's like I dismiss all of it. It doesn't matter if it's a hit, right? It's like, well, it's still mixed in with all the crap. It's like what good is the stew if it's got cyanide in it,
Yeah.
right? It's like I'm not gonna take a chance. Forget that. It's like, and that's what's happened. It's like they've tainted the pool. People are just fed up and tired of it, and they're not gonna give them the benefit of the doubt anymore. And frankly, I don't blame them.
Well, I,
That,
I think the biggest problem, all that really stems from the fact that a lot of these, a lot of these so-called, fans and a lot of these producers of content actively have disdain for the comic book fans, right? The
Right.
fans, the actual source
mhm,
material,
That's
and
yeah.
right.
they continually punish people for disliking whatever they put out, right? And it's only going to create an environment of resentment. And even though as someone who did enjoy the Superman movie, I don't think that you're obligated to like this movie. Like I said in the past, that I could see this being someone's favorite movie, Superman movie, but I
Yeah.
also could see this being someone's least favorite Superman movie.
Right.
And I
At the same
understand
time.
both
Right.
viewpoints,
Yeah.
right? Because at
Yeah.
the end of the day, as a fan, as the audience, it's not your job to enjoy something. It's their job to entertain you. And
Right.
if you don't enjoy it, you didn't. If you didn't enjoy the movie, you didn't do anything wrong, right? You're not wrong for not enjoying the movie because it's not your job to have fun. It's their job to provide something, provide the fun. Does
Right.
that make
That's
sense?
exactly right. Yeah. That's it. It's like going to the amusement park and you have to ride a bicycle to charge up the battery to make the roller coaster go.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's like
exactly.
no, you're supposed to be on the roller coaster, right? It's their job to power it and make it fun, and right. It's like, and that's what they've like turned it on its ear. Where now these actors and these producers and directors and writers, they have this very elitist, pompous attitude, right? Very, very pretentious, and they think that they're doing you a favor when they give you this crap, right? They're like, here, I dressed up this crap. You should love this. And it's like, no, I don't, because you're not giving me what I want. You're not giving me, and it's like the IP gave us what we wanted before, right? But for some reason, you chose to ignore that and reshape this IP into something else,
And
right?
I feel that a lot of fans are settling, right? Now they're
Hmm.
settling. Okay, so let's go back to the Superman movie. I started watching the trailers, and off the bat, the way that the actor plays Superman is all wrong. All wrong. He's this emotional, unhinged man boy. He flies off the handle all the time. Superman is not like that. I mean, Superman can have emotions, of course, and we've seen it, and we've seen it done well. But he's not. I don't know. Like there's a reserved strength and quiet dignity
Yeah,
with Superman, right?
Yeah,
Christopher Reeve did it.
yeah, that's right. Well,
Dean
George,
Cain
even
did
George
it.
Reeves before him,
George
I remember.
Reeves. They all had that quality.
Yeah,
Brandon Routh had it when he played Superman in Superman Returns. You know, Tom Welling had it in Smallville.
heck, Tim Daly
to
had
his
it.
credit, yeah,
Tim
yeah,
Daly
Tim
and
Daly's his
George
credit.
Newbern, both of
Yeah,
them.
yeah, that's right, George Newman.
You
Yeah,
know, everyone had it. You know what? Even I can't stand these movies, but even Henry Cavill had it. Even though
Yeah,
oh
he,
yeah. I honestly, I think Henry Cavill was a great casting choice. He just got railroaded with
yeah,
bad
yeah.
writing and bad
I
production.
think I
That's
think
what.
that Henry Cavill himself is was not the problem with
No,
Superman,
yeah, he
no,
was a great
no, he was
cast.
cool.
He really was, and
Henry
but
Cavill is usually the trend is Henry Cavill is usually the best part of a production, and he's surrounded by people who are
yeah, the same thing
as
with Witcher, for
yeah,
example.
yeah,
exactly,
exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah,
who are
I'm
not as
I'm
accomplished
I'm
as
holding out
accomplished.
hope that he does well with with the Warhammer 40K
that's
franchise.
right. I hope
I
so. I
really want
really
that
do.
to be good.
I'm,
But
I
anyway,
hope he has a lot of control over it.
yes,
As an
yes.
executive producer or something, and
But
that will ensure that it's good
so
because he's a fan. So
yeah, all these people had that quality. And I'm not saying that this actor doesn't have it, but he wasn't directed to tap into that.
yeah,
He
I can
was
agree with that. Yeah, I can agree with that, and I like the movie overall.
yeah.
Um, it, and but that's relative to what we've been getting lately.
Like
Um,
in all the clips I've seen and trailers, like that's not Superman. That's not who he is. And I've had people say, "Oh, you have to watch the movie. You have to have context." I don't have to have context. No amount of context is going to fix that for me.
So
Okay.
here's the thing. I think the same way you feel about it's funny. The same way you feel about the Superman movie is the same way I feel about Castlevania. I'm a big Castlevania fan. I've been playing the game since high school. My favorite Castlevania game is Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the
It's
Night.
funny you should mention that because I was watching Castlevania like on Netflix and stuff, and then the one episode was the one where Alucard had this threesome with these.
Yeah,
That was it. I'm like, oh, that
yeah.
oh, done.
Yeah, that was weird.
No,
So
yeah,
here's the thing. What ended up happening in Castlevania is that after they kill Dracula, it stops being Castlevania, and it turns into this whole other thing that has nothing to do with Castlevania. Right? They're no longer fighting. I mean, they're fighting vampires, but it's a lot of characters. What ended up happening is the focus shifts from Trevor Belmont, the Belmont, which is supposed to be the main focus, and it starts focusing on a bunch of other characters and who I don't really care about, and romances and stuff like that, and like sex, and
right,
it's like, well, this doesn't have to do with Castlevania.
right.
And I just stopped watching it because
Yeah,
I didn't care anymore. It's
Yeah.
like they killed Dracula, and it's like, well, it just felt like they were meandering, and so I didn't really bother finishing the rest of it. And Rondo of Blood, or I get it in the Netflix show that it's called Castlevania Nocturne, which is supposed to be an adaptation of Rondo of Blood, starring with Richter Belmont. And Richter Belmont in that show seems like just nowhere near as cool, right? First off, he's swearing a lot. Like you have to. A lot of the Belmonts. Richter Belmont was sort of the first Belmont in the series with like a defined personality.
Yeah.
He's very much a like stoic, classical like shonen protagonist.
Uh huh.
One of the die monster, you don't belong in this world. Like he's energetic, but he's got a nobility about him.
Hmm.
And then in some of the sneak peek footage that they showed, he's already swearing and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah, that
It's like
reminds me
that's
of.
not Richter.
they're already deconstructing him. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, like with Trevor, that
and
worked
I
because
stopped after the first season. So
that reminds me of what they did to Devil May Cry. Also,
well, it's the same guy. It's the same guy.
of course it is. Like,
that makes
what's her
sense.
name? The character that just swears all the time. It
Oh, I
just.
don't know. I didn't watch Devil May Cry.
I didn't watch it either,
I'm
but
less of a Devil May Cry fan, and I still was like, yeah, here's where they messed up. Here's where I knew that they messed up was that when they first revealed the Devil May Cry animated series,
mhm.
the showrunner pulls out an NES cartridge with Devil May Cry slapped on it. I'm like, what?
What Devil
Devil
May
May
Cry was
Cry is a
never in it.
yeah,
NES?
exactly.
What?
It's a PS2 game.
Oh my god!
What? How hard it was to buy a disc of Devil May Cry because it was the effect of the video game's coming to life. But it's like how cheap would it have been to just get a PS2 and a disc of Devil May Cry? Like it didn't make any sense.
Wow.
So that's how immediately you could tell right off the bat that the
He
guy
doesn't.
was
He does. He
he
didn't.
doesn't care. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it was so
But
stupid.
Well, it's no different than what they did with Disney. And, I mean, Star Wars. Just ignored all the canon, all the novels.
Well,
The
yeah.
same
Well, my
thing. It's
point
like
is,
it's all right there, but they willfully choose to ignore the source material because they think they're doing you a favor by doing it. They think that their creativity will make it elevated into something more, right? By injecting their
yeah,
nonsensical ideology.
they completely misrepresent the adaptation of these characters or these franchises, and well, back to Superman. So yeah, he wasn't Superman, and the other thing was what they did to Jor-El and Laura. Like that was a hard deal breaker for me.
Yeah, that was pretty big. I think it appears they may have reversed course
Not
later
that's
on.
not what James Gunn has said
Yeah, that's not what he said, but then they put out a post that implies that it was false from a from one of their DC
because
X
they're
accounts.
trying to do damage control. That's
So yeah, that's what I'm wondering. It'll be interesting to see going forward what he
right?
does
But
with that.
if they
But
feel they if they
it's
feel the need,
like, why? Well, first of all, I'm just gonna say it because I agree with you, Hero Geek. I was willing to give him a chance, but I realized that was a mistake.
mhm.
DC, I mean James Gunn managing DC. is a bad idea.
No, and
And
you
this
know,
is why, because I watched the first episode of Peacemaker, and
okay, you know,
it is garbage.
I'm
It
glad you brought up
is
Peacemaker
there's a
because
literal orgy in this
he's tying
episode.
he
It's
wants to
crazy, man.
tie the Superman movie to this Peacemaker show, which is just
Which is a
degenerate
terrible idea.
and disgusting
Yeah,
and
it's
gross and
uh,
violent and
yeah,
vulgar.
it's like it makes no sense whatsoever. And I think James Gunn is a sick and twisted person. I
Yeah,
really do. I
yeah.
really do. I
I,
think
I,
he
I
is because to go and make a movie like Superman, and for all its flaws, overall it was a decent movie, right? And when I say decent, I mean it was absent of ideological nonsense, of adult, over the top adult humor. Said it was just a movie. It was truly a family movie. Then to turn around and produce a season two of Peacemaker and start kick it off with the most grotesque scene, right? The most ridiculous, over the top. It's like, yo, what are you doing, man? Like, what are
Mhm.
you trying to build here? Because it isn't something that's for everybody. That's for sure. It's not for everybody. And if you're doing that with the streaming, but then you're trying to somehow connect it to the movies, but then the movies are going to be this, family friendly. It's like, what do you?
Yeah, but
It makes no sense. It's like you
I'm,
got to be consistent, man. Like
I'm
this
not
is absurd.
surprised. I'm not surprised because he did that with the Suicide Squad movie that he directed. You
Yeah, I'm still
know,
Oh, I
pissed at
never
him
watched
about
it.
that.
so
I'm really.
so
It was, it
and
was an okay movie until he killed Polka Dot Man.
so to me, this
Like
is
seriously.
a pattern of DC just being very mature rated friendly, and I don't you know how I feel about that. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with maturity, but maturity and hypersexuality are not the same thing.
Yeah, because
And
here's the
that's the
thing.
problem is they conflate the two, and
Well, I
and
mean,
Well, here's the thing, Dad.
they'll
We
say
grew
the
up.
Punisher is mature, and it's like, yeah, it is mature because there's a lot of violence, but the violence feeds into the story. It's part of the narrative,
Yeah,
versus a Peacemaker where there's violence and there's hypersexuality and hyperviolence for no reason other than a gag.
yeah.
yeah,
It
and this is
doesn't move the story forward in any way meaningful
yeah,
at
and
all.
this is a pattern that DC's had for several years now, dating back to uh, you know the Titans show and all of that, and
Yeah,
the
that's right.
Harley
That
Oh,
Quinn
was
yeah.
show.
terrible. I watched the first two episodes of that, and it was like my eyeballs were sore from rolling so
Well,
much. It was
it's
so
not. It's not
pretentious.
Teen Titans.
It was
It's not.
awful. It was god awful. It's like, what are
Yeah,
they? I don't know. You always ask, like, what are they thinking when they make this stuff? Like, do they really believe it's good? Right? And they being the writers and the director, not the artist and the key grip and they don't care. They're working. They're doing their
no,
job.
the
Right?
producers, the directors, the writers,
I'm
those
talking about,
people.
yeah, the people that are in charge of the narrative and the story. It's like, do they honestly believe it's good?
I think.
I don't
I
know.
think
I
some of
don't know.
them do, and then some of them don't care because I
Yeah,
think that
yeah, that's
a
true.
lot of people. We talk about this a lot, but a lot of people they don't view movies as art. They view it as well. They in many people's minds, art and propaganda are one and the same. And so what happens is that they create their art with the purpose of not entertaining people, but to uh, push whatever worldview they have. And usually it comes off um, as them having disdain for their audience, right?
Mm.
That's why you
Yeah,
had,
yeah,
She-Hulk breaking the fourth wall and like slamming Marvel fans for not liking her show as like the final episode and things of that nature. Not that She-Hulk breaking the fourth wall isn't normal. She does that in the comics,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
no, but
the She-Hulk comics
it's
were
the
made for
why. It's
comic
the why.
fans.
It's the
Yeah,
why she's breaking it and what
yeah.
she's saying. It's not the breaking it itself, right? And that's the problem.
So
It's like it's so tone deaf, right? And they think
what's
it's like they literally just want to have a gotcha, and in their minds, because that show was produced and written and managed, by all women, I think, right? So in
Yeah.
their minds, they're thinking, "Oh, we gave it to the patriarchy. We showed them," and
Yeah.
it's like, no, you literally shot yourself in the foot because now the show is tanked and nobody wants to see it,
Yeah.
and you're not getting another season of it. Like,
What's been most disheartening about is like I said, the settling is that like seeing a lot of mutuals that are supposed to be culture warriors just kind of give these movies a pass. Like, oh well, it was great. Like, what?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
you know, uh, I've seen a lot with with the Superman movie and the Fantastic Four movie. Like, oh, they gender swapped Silver Surfer, but that's suddenly okay. Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic, that's fine, right? That's okay. That's I don't understand how people are just
Well,
settled.
because I think for some people, and I've talked to a few individuals here and there, and I think for some people, they're not extreme either way. They literally just want to enjoy this content, right? Whether it's sci-fi, Star Wars or superhero movies. They're like, and they're frustrated because they keep seeing the back and forth, right?
Hmm.
And they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, I'm tired of the negativity." And it's like, okay, I understand that, right? But don't focus that blame on the reactions. It's like we were saying before, right? If someone keeps slapping you around and you respond with a fist, right? You can't be surprised at the fist, right? And that's the problem, I think, with the perspective of a lot of people who are kind of, many of them, they are like what we would call normies, I guess, right? Like,
Yeah.
they're not on, they may be progressive in what they vote for or something, right? But they're not looking at this in that manner, right? They're just going, well, I just want to see my favorite thing that was in this comic book or in this book on the big screen, right? That's it. I just want to
Yeah.
see it, and I don't care if they do these gender swaps or something, right? Because for them, they just don't want negativity. They just want to be happy that that thing that they liked is being produced.
I mean,
And
but
I
that
understand that to a degree. It's like, I get that.
to a degree, but I can't. I can't. To me, they're just blind consumers. They don't really.
Well,
Well, they don't
right,
care.
they don't
They
see
don't
the
care.
propaganda, and I think part of it is they don't want to see it, right? Because, like I said, they want to just be entertained, and they're willing to accept whatever gets put out, even if it's garbage. Why? Because in their minds, it's like they're trying to maintain this sense of wonder, right? And it's like, and it's like I said, I understand that, but the reality is
I
these
try.
people are destroying that wonder by producing this garbage, by race swapping, gender swapping, and doing it so blatantly and so, with abandon, right? And then on top of that, having this pretentious perspective of you, the consumer, as if it's your fault if you don't like it, right? It's
Yeah.
like, and that's really it, and that's the part they fail to see. And I think some people, like I said, individuals I've spoken to, they're starting to understand and see that and realize, yeah, man, like, they shouldn't have done that, and but it's like, it takes conversations, and like, whoever, a lot of people don't like, for example, Critical Drinker or something, or it's like, that's, you don't have to like Critical Drinker, but he makes a lot of great points,
Mhm.
and that's the key, is you got to start seeing past personalities and hear what's being said, right? And then you judge, is what he's saying, or she, is it true? Is it valid? Right? And I think a lot of folks are starting to see, like, yeah, it is valid. Like, Nerdrotic, whether I like the guy or not, right? He made a lot of valid points
Yeah.
about what's going on in Hollywood, right? And
Now
so forth and so on.
well, yes, the problem is, I mean, they're gonna make a sequel to Superman. Like
Of
I've
course.
given up. I've given up.
Yeah.
I've given up on the hope of seeing an accurate Superman again. That's
Yeah.
it.
At least
In
in the
my
next
lifetime,
decade.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna see it again.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. And I'm kind of in the same mindset that we're not going to get what we want from, we're not going to get it from the people we're supposed to get it from. But I'm hopeful of the indie market, right?
Yeah.
Independent creators,
Yes.
because I believe we will get it from them.
Yeah.
We'll get it from
Oh,
real
for
Yeah.
sure.
fans
We're
and real
we're we're
and
never.
really talented people.
Yeah. We're
Like there's
never gonna.
already one that's came out a few years back that harkens to the Alex Ross version, with the look and feel of
Yeah.
Superman. Like they're trying to actually get that made into something long, long
Yeah.
form. And I'm like, go for it. I'll support it. And
Yeah.
there's others. There's more, not just Superman, but other properties that are independent, like Transformers. We see a lot of Transformers independent animators and writers. Star Wars. They're out
Yeah.
there and they're doing it. They're like, we're gonna make what we want to see, and what they want to see is what most of us want to see, right? And so that gives me hope because Disney and Warner
Warner
Brothers,
Brothers and
Paramount, they're not going to give it to us. They're not. You're right. Like it's not going to happen in our lifetime. But I believe independent creators will,
Well,
and that's where my hope lies.
what's funny about all this is that for years, a lot of people, especially here in you know the America, it's very fun to me and my friends we used to make fun of a lot of like Dragon Ball fans and stuff like that. But here's why most of these series will never be as popular or as important as Dragon Ball is because Dragon Ball always has always tried to they always try to please the fans for better and for worse. They always try to please the fans. Like how I don't know if you ever heard I don't know if you ever listened to the Japanese dub of Dragon Ball, like the original dub of Dragon Ball. But
oh yeah, I've tried to, and Goku's voice just I
well,
can't.
here's the thing though. The reason why they didn't change it is because when they did change it to a more adult voice, the fans got very upset because they liked the sound of Kid Goku. So they just never changed the voice actor. It's always
Yeah.
been the same lady. It's always been the same lady.
Hmm.
So, but because the fans got upset because they like Kid Goku, they didn't want Goku to grow up originally. So they just never changed the voice. But
Well,
that's because the fans wanted it.
to be fair, I've always preferred Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z anyway. But
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, most people. I mean, I do too. I agree. But yeah, same thing. A lot of decisions were made like that, right? Go. Dragon Ball was supposed to end with the Cell Saga, but fans wanted more. You know.
am I right in saying that they've really milked the DBZ franchise way
I
beyond
mean, they did, but
That's putting it lightly.
expiration
Yeah.
date?
I mean, yeah. I mean, but here's the thing, though. Um, it's well earned because uh go Dragon Ball and even Dragon Ball Z to a certain extent offers a lot it offers a lot to be inspired by, and the character of Goku uh it's pretty endearing, right? Like that's their Superman basically.
Hmm.
Over here, right? You meet anybody at the gym, right? You meet anybody at school, right? You meet anybody doing sports, and they'll tell you they've all held their hands up for a spirit bomb at some point. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because Goku inspired them to do that. Same thing with me. I remember watching the Red Ribbon arc, and like someone like this grown man tried to punch Goku, like Kid Goku, and Goku was like, "Man, you need to work out more." And like straight up, like I paused the episode and did like 10 push-ups. So I was like, oh man, he's calling me out. But yeah, it just has that effect on people, right? And they don't even get me started with the video games. So yeah, you could say they quote unquote milked it, but that implies that people don't want more Dragon Ball, and everybody still gets excited for Dragon
I
Ball.
mean, I might criticize Dragon Ball Z and whatnot, but I don't really have any big issue with it. I don't, and I understand why, and I liked a lot. I like a lot of characters. I do think that they kind of ruined Yamcha though, because Yamcha was much cooler in the original Dragon Ball series than he
Well,
is.
I mean, a lot of characters, I mean, should have just stayed dead. No offense to Yamcha, But yeah, it's one of those things where uh yeah, because you know how the world works and how Dragon Balls work. But regardless of that, regardless of how you feel about the story, because obviously there are some story issues, what they do see that is creating uh, memorable and aspirational characters. Goku, even
Yeah.
Krillin, even Vegeta. Yeah, I can't tell you
Vegeta.
how many.
Now, it's interesting you mentioned Vegeta because from what I read, he goes through a pretty big, genuine arc.
Oh yeah. Well, he was the villain. He was the Prince of the Saiyans. He was literal Prince of the Saiyans, and his dad was killed by Frieza, and so he tries to get the Dragon Balls to get immortality so he could conquer the world and rebuild the Saiyan Empire. But he ends up getting killed by Frieza, and so in his dying words, he's like, "Goku, you represent all Saiyans now." And so that's when the but he ends up. The thing is that he ends up dying, and he ends up being brought back to life by the Dragon Balls. And so at that point, he's got a new life to live, and so he lives it on
I
Earth.
also I also heard that he actually wishes for a lot of the people that he killed to be alive or something like that too.
I don't know if he made that wish, but I know somebody made the wish like, "Oh, bring back everybody that Frieza killed, Frieza and his men killed," and that's how he came back to life. But even then, a big part of his character arc change came from meeting Trunks, his son from the future.
Yeah.
And I mean that was a cool arc, the Cell Saga and stuff like that. But a lot of my point is that a lot of people relate to Vegeta because they see him as the true underdog because he's always being uh, shown up by Goku and stuff like that. But he still chases after that strength, even though he doesn't always succeed. And a lot of people relate to that, right? But yeah, so there's everybody there's a character for everybody to latch onto is my point. And you don't really get that with today's stories, at least here in, in Western animation, comics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing to aspire to, right? Like it's like there's nothing to latch onto. And a lot of the things that they try to a lot of these characters, a lot of the things that they try uh, to have you latch onto, it's like it's what's the word? It's let me just put it to you this way: the most recent Marvel comic that I read had to do with this nature girl, and like she found like a turtle with a
Oh, that if she was killing people and
yeah,
yeah.
and it's like, oh, but she's doing it for the environment.
And then
It's
the
like,
the,
yeah,
the,
but she's
ri- the writers,
murdering people.
yeah, the writers heavily imply that it's a good thing she's doing and that she's a hero and like yeah.
Yeah, and it's silly. Or I think a better example is um, when Invincible Fight Girl came out. Me and my dad actually watched it. We did a review of it on on the stream, and we compared it to Kinnikuman Man because wrestling's pretty popular in Japan. So I was like, well, that was that at the time that was like one of the only other big wrestling series that I knew about in anime was Kinnikuman. Are you familiar with Kinnikuman, Hero Geek?
Ultimate Muscle?
Yep, Ultimate Muscle.
Is
So
it
that's the
Muscle.
sequel.
Yeah.
That's the sequel to Kinnikuman. Literally means Muscle Man, and so
okay?
Ultimate Muscle is Muscle Man 2.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, it's Ultimate Muscle. So this is the OG Ultimate Muscle, and so we watched the first episode. I sent Dad the first episode of Kinnikuman, and somehow in this gag anime with Ultraman parodies uh, and fart jokes and stuff like that, they created a more compelling protagonist than Invincible Fight Girl, and it had to do with the fact that we there was a actual personality to latch onto with Kinnikuman,
right.
he's a bit of a dork. He's lazy, but he's super strong and he has a lot of potential, right?
Yeah.
And with Invincible Fight Girl, all we knew is that she was. I mean, she was, she was like shy and timid, and she wanted to be a wrestler. And
Well, her parents wanted her to be an accountant,
yeah, and
and my
that's a
my thing with that show, watching the first episode was, I'll be honest, she didn't come off as a Mary Sue per se, at least not initially. It was like, okay, she's in this world where wrestling is big time, and everybody loves wrestlers, and but then everyone has their sort of chosen thing, I guess, like you're born into it. So she's born to be an accountant, and but she wants to be a wrestler, and it's like, okay, but part of it is, I don't know, I felt like getting from A to B, the path made very little sense,
yeah, exactly, because
you
she
know,
didn't.
and she, it's like, I don't know, like the way it ended with her defeating an actual wrestler, and it was kind of like, that's kind of out of nowhere, I guess.
Well, it wasn't earned. Yeah, that
Yeah, it
was the
wasn't
thing.
really
It was.
earned. There was no training. There was no.
Yeah, there was no
I don't know.
training.
It just felt kind of empty. And you're right. There was this lack of proper character development, I guess. You know, um, Plus the world itself kind of made very little sense.
Well, I don't
You
really
know,
think that's a big issue with the.
no,
But
not necessarily. You don't have to flesh out the whole world right off riff, but it's like, part of it is just, how does this work? I don't know. Yeah, for me,
she
it was
didn't.
just
There
such
was
a big
no.
disconnect. It
There
was
was
like,
yeah.
I don't get what's happening, and they never paid off any. They never really set up anything to pay off. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Like
They
there
really
was
didn't.
no real challenge for her to overcome. Like yeah, she
Yeah,
had to fight
until
a
until the
wrestler.
until the end, and when
Right,
she fought the wrestler, but
right, but
it,
here's the
it
thing, Dad.
wasn't satisfying.
Right because it wasn't the win came out of nowhere. There was no like emotional there was no
Yeah, yeah,
emotional
yeah,
character things she had to overcome.
yeah. It was
Well, you're basically describing Ray Skywalker, Ray from.
yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
well,
yeah,
Ray wasn't Mary Sue 100%. With the show though, not as much. It's just, I think it's just poor writing, to be honest. I don't. It
yeah,
wasn't like, she didn't feel like a Mary Sue at first. It was kind of like, okay, I get it. Like there's pressure to be this, but you want to be this, right? I get that, and they kind of spelled that out pretty good. It's just the setups and payoffs weren't there where you felt like,
yeah,
it's like a bad joke, right? You tell a joke. A good joke is one that has a good setup, so that when you get the punchline, it's surprising and unexpected, but it also makes sense, right?
yeah,
And we didn't get any of that with the show. We didn't get a good setup, so the payoffs didn't land.
yeah,
That's really it. It wasn't like she was necessarily a Mary Sue. I
yeah.
think they
So
tried to make her a good character. It just didn't work.
yeah, like so for example with Kanika Man, the whole thing is that he's lazy and stuff like that, and they want him to
Yeah,
be a
there's
hero,
something there to latch on.
and but he doesn't want to. He just wants to eat all day and be a bum.
Yeah,
And so Japan ends up hiring an American hero, and he's good at his job, but he's greedy and he's selfish.
right,
He's
right,
an American,
right.
and when a
Their
kid,
perception of a capitalist.
yeah, and when a kid tries to ask the American hero for help, um, the American hero tells him to pay him, and all he
Yeah,
has
right.
is his piggy
Yeah,
bank
yeah,
change,
it doesn't have the money.
and he slaps the kid, and he slaps the money out of the kid's hand, and he knocks him over, and that's when Kanika Man punches the crap out of him,
Right,
and he's like, "I'll help you, kid,"
right.
and
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 he does,
yeah, and basically and that inspires the American
to
to
be a
help out
better
Kanika.
be a better
Yeah,
hero. Yeah,
right. So that
yeah.
was awesome. That
Right.
was a really
See, and
good setup.
that's what I'm saying. The setups were there, right? You set the main character up as lazy, childish, kind of silly, right? And it's like, okay, he's not a great hero at first, right? He's unmotivated. Here comes an actual hero who's all the things he should be, but he's greedy,
but he's
right?
selfish. Yeah,
He's, yeah, greedy and selfish, and so that sets everything up so that when he responds and he goes, "That's awful. You can't just not help somebody because they don't have any money," right? And he kicks his butt, and then he goes and saves the day, and that inspires this guy to be a better hero. It's like that's very satisfying. It's wacky and silly. If you watch the show, you're going to be like, "This is the most ridiculous show," right?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
hilarious. But at the same time, if you dig a little deeper, you get a little, it's a mile wide and a mile deep. To be honest, it's like if you go a little deeper, you'll see it. Like, wow, this is pretty compelling, and
Mhm.
that's why we like the things we like. It's because as silly, on the surface it looks, we intuitively understand, wow, this is actually a great story. This is a great lesson,
yeah.
Mhm.
because it has a great satisfying payoff, and unlike the Invincible Fight Girl, it just didn't have it. It didn't have that.
Well, I have no idea what Invincible Fight Girl is, so like,
What's our? I mean, you're
Yeah, it
not
was on
missing out
Netflix. It came
anything.
out like last year, I
okay.
think, and it kind of came and went. I don't even think it got another season, to be honest. So, um, yeah, it didn't really excite me. But talking about this reminds me of I just watched uh, the what was it, the Karate, what was it, Karate Kid movie,
Karate Kid Legends.
Legends. Yeah, yeah. I
Oh, you
just
saw
watched
it?
that last night with
How
your
how
with your
is that?
brother.
I I've
It's terrible.
it's terrible. Okay,
Yeah,
No,
it's an objectively bad movie.
okay.
oh
It really
no!
is, and I'm very disappointed because all three of us, me, him, and his brother,
Yeah, we were all excited.
we're
Oh
fans.
no,
We
yeah.
love the
I mean,
series.
I'm a big fan of the originals, and I love
Yeah,
Cobra Kai.
yeah,
So
exactly. We love Cobra
Cobra
Kai.
Kai is
I
literally the
love the
best show.
movies. I've
yeah.
watched all the movies, and so watching this, I thought going in like, okay, this is cool. Now they're taking it back to the big screen, right? I even watched the Jaden Smith one, which I like. It's not a terrible movie. It's not a bad movie.
Yeah,
Um,
no,
I
it's not.
like
It's
that.
not horrible. Yeah, yeah,
it's not. Yeah, he's actually pretty decent in it, and Jackie Chan was great. And he was obviously in this movie as well. I believe he's the same character as
He's the same character. He's the same
yeah,
character.
from the other Karate
It's
Kid
essentially
remake.
a crossover.
So I
Yeah.
think they're trying to combine the universe, I suppose, which is fine. And the lead character, the young man in the front there, he's actually really good. He's
Does
very
Johnny
likable.
Lawrence make an appearance in the
Yeah,
movie?
Johnny Lawrence. I'm not, yeah, at the end, but why can't I think of his name right now? The guy on the right side.
Oh, Ralph Macchio.
Yeah, Ralph Macchio.
It's
he's
right
he's in
there.
the he is in the movie. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, but he's in the
It's okay.
movie, and I can barely see it myself. So, but
No worries.
but it's like he doesn't need to be in the movie, and in fact, I would venture to say they should have picked one or the other. They should have either just had Jackie Chan or just Ralph Macchio, but not both. Having both made zero sense. It was completely unnecessary,
Oh wow.
and the story itself is all over the place.
Well, I think they could have had both if they were working against, if they were rivals to each other. I just
Maybe,
didn't think
yeah,
it's yours
but
to.
then you don't. Neither one of them wants to be the bad guy, quote unquote, right, in the movie. So that's not going to happen. And that's the problem is there wasn't an actual bad guy in this movie.
Okay.
Like it's like, for example, right? I'm just going to. There's in the beginning of the movie, it starts off and they do a reference to the original with a scene with Mr. Miyagi, right? Then they flash forward to China, and they're in Beijing, and Jackie Chan is a kung fu teacher or whatever, and he's instructing him. And I don't know if he's a grandfather or a father or to this young man or uncle. I don't know. I have no idea. They
Oh, they
never
never
really.
really established that.
Yeah, they really don't. And he has a mother who doesn't want him to fight. Now they don't tell you immediately why. She does. She just doesn't. Right. And then the next scene, they're in New York. Like she goes because she's a doctor, so she goes to New York for a job. So now they move to New York. He's in New York, and he immediately fits in perfectly. he, he's perfect. He speaks perfect English. He gets around by himself just fine. He makes friends. He even makes a girlfriend. Um, Nothing happens to him that tells you this is the main character, right? That he has some kind of something, right? And then they tease that this other kid might be like the protagonist, right? Because he knows karate, and he's kind of a jerk, and he's the ex boyfriend of the girl. So now you're like, oh, it's Karate Kid all over again, right?
Yeah.
And they meet on a train, and the guy literally punches him in the eye for no reason. Okay, and he does nothing. Like, keep in mind, he knows kung fu. He knows how to fight. He
Yeah.
just doesn't fight. And I go, okay, so it's one of those I choose not to fight right now, right? Whatever, right? The next scene, literally the next scene, he's at school, right? And he sees the guy again. They're at the same school, and he, says something to him, pisses him off. So he turns around. And he's like, "I'm going to fight you now." So I go, "Oh, now you want to fight?" He hasn't touched you. He just said something that was pretty harmless. I can't even remember what he said. But now you want to fight? Okay, whatever. You're going to fight. I'm thinking now he's going to lay this guy out because he already knows kung fu, right? And then he's fighting this guy, and he's getting some licks in, and he gets taken down hard. Like this, the guy just takes him out easily, right? Why? Reasons, I guess. I don't know. I'm looking at this going, this kid knows how to fight. We know he's already been trained by Jackie Chan, right? He's literally from China. What are you talking about, right? They even flash back to his older brother who trained him also. So I'm going, so he knows what to do. It's clear he knows because he's fighting the guy, but the guy defeats him anyway, right? Because he tries some stupid move, and he gets the wind knocked out of him, right? So I'm like, okay, whatever. So they're setting this up. The next scene, right? Like maybe it's two scenes over, and I'm getting to the point here because it frustrates the hell out of me. So he's at home. His mother fussed at him for fighting because she saw the black eye, right? Not what happened at school, but because of the black eye from the train, right? So that made no sense at all. It's like, so you didn't get a phone call from the principal, but whatever. So he's looking out the window. He sees a scooter that him and his girlfriend were riding on earlier, and it broke down. So he's like, "Oh, maybe I can fix it." So he tries to tinker with it, and it's right outside the pizza shop where his girlfriend and her dad works, right? And so these thugs come around the corner because they're going after the dad at the pizza place because he owes money to a loan shark. And so there's three guys. They all have weapons. They have like batons and like a bat or whatever. And they whack him in the head. And the kid sees it. He's like, "Oh my god! Like, look out!" Right? And so the thugs see him. They go, "Oh, stay out of this, kid!" Right? And he literally immediately leaps into action and kicks the stew out of all three of these guys.
So
Right?
so he
All
couldn't
three.
beat a
Thank you.
kid his
See,
own age,
thank you.
but he
That's
was able to
right.
beat
You
three or
see where
four
I'm going, right?
grown men with
Grown
weapons.
with weapons, and not only that, but these guys work for this thug. And guess who the thug is? He's the owner of a dojo, which means these guys are probably part of his dojo, which means they know karate.
Oh my gosh.
So he couldn't beat the kid at school who knows karate. He probably knows less karate than he knows because he's literally from China, living at a Chinese dojo in Beijing with his grandfather or whoever he is teaching him, right?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense, but he can beat these three adult men with weapons. Like, and it was like Jackie Chan style. Like he's doing all the little flips and using the found weapons, right? The trash can lids and all that, right? He's doing all the things,
Yeah.
and he squarely, roundly takes him out. Then he helps the dad, right? Put some ice on his head, and he's like, "How'd you do that?" He's like, "Well, my," and he tells him about Jackie Chan. He taught me everything I know. And then he goes, you need to train me. I'm a boxer." This is where it completely goes off the
What?
rails.
The kid's gonna.
So the kid that couldn't beat the little high school punk, right? He couldn't beat him. He could beat three adult male karate guys with weapons. He's going to train the boxer who's been boxing for 20 some odd years, right? He's going to train him to be a better boxer so he can fight in this underground
Man,
match,
that's some
which
Chinese
which
propaganda if I ever heard.
which he loses.
Oh my gosh.
He loses. He gets put in the hospital.
Dang.
So
It sounded like this was just Chinese propaganda.
it
Like
is. It is for sure. It is for sure. But it's a terrible movie. And I hate saying that because I really like these guys. I like the Karate Kid
so if you
Right.
know,
franchise.
so what does he need Jackie Chan either for? If he's already like,
Well, this is the thing. So Jackie Chan, for some reason, he calls him, of course, and tells him what's going on. So he flies to New York, and the first thing he does after the guy loses the fight, he goes, "We're gonna fight in the other karate tournament to win the
why?
money to help to save his pizza place."
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Why? I don't know. Why you don't know? You just met these people. You have
No,
no.
I
You don't
mean,
even know why he borrowed the money. He could
is
be a thug
was
himself.
was anyone from Cobra Kai involved in this? The
No,
directors?
I don't know. That's the thing I need to find out is were the writers of. I don't think so personally. I think what happened was this was already in production, right?
Mhm.
It was probably floating around during the Cobra Kai series by somebody else, someone else, and they thought it was an opportunity to revitalize the movie franchise, and I think they shoehorned in Ralph Macchio and Johnny Lawrence, the character into this movie. That's
Yeah.
what I think because the way they're presented and how he comes in, it feels so tacked on. Like he literally has no reason to come to New York and help, other than well, you knew my teacher, Mr. Miyagi, and it's kind of like so what,
Yeah.
like there's no stakes involved here. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna train a kid to fight in the why? Who cares? Like this kid doesn't need to do anything but listen to his mama. His mother throughout the movie is telling him, "Don't fight, go to school, take the college exams, the entrance exams, blah blah blah." Like, and that's literally all he has to do. He doesn't have to do anything else. There's nothing that is externally compelling him to fight.
Not like the
Nothing.
original Karate
He's
Kid
not getting bullied
movies.
or anything.
He's not getting bullied. He simply likes the same girl as the other guy, right? And it's like, so what? Just find another girlfriend. Like you just met her yesterday. And then on top of it, in the following scene, he sees her at a carnival with the same guy. Like they're hugged up. So I'm thinking, so clearly they're not broken up. You have nothing to fight for here. Like you have no motivation.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah,
The
that
movie
sounds
makes
crazy.
no sense. Like I said, I think they had some kind of movie, but they tried to tie it into Cobra Kai by adding Ralph Macchio, maybe even Jackie Chan too. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Like he may not have even been originally a part of it, but because it just feels so the way it's edited, the way it's paced, it goes very fast. It's only an hour and a half movie, so
See,
it goes very fast.
I think
It's
this dives
go
into
ahead.
a
I'm sorry.
larger problem of a lot of stories now. A lot of storytellers nowadays, they they adapt all these tropes without understanding the function behind the tropes.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
this is you see this especially um uh with reboots and with people who try to like make anime inspired content where they throw in these sort of anime tropes and anime references without understanding the context or the purpose behind whatever anime thing they're trying to do, right?
Yeah.
It's like when uh so my Adventures of Superman.
Yeah,
um, I don't like the show. I feel the way I feel about that show is probably the same way that Hero Geek feels about the
Well,
Super.
no, no. I feel the same way about my Adventures with Superman.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
it's not
the
that's worse than the movie in my opinion
Yeah,
because
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
it's
I mean,
such a
I believe you.
departure
I believe you. Yeah.
from super. Like he's transforming into Superman.
he's
Like
doing
it's
like Sailor
magical.
Moon
Yeah, it's
transformations. It's
pretty
so dumb.
ridiculous. I mean, I've watched the first couple of episodes, and it's like, yeah, this
Oh,
isn't Superman.
I didn't even get through the first episode. The
Yeah,
dialogue was so horrible.
Yeah, it's not Superman at all. It's
Yeah.
something else. It,
I mean,
it could
and not
it
to
could work.
mention
It could work if it wasn't Superman. If it was like a completely new hero,
different.
you
Yeah,
know, like, and they just in this exact same story beats, it would be fine. You go, oh, okay, this is interesting, right? But because it's
yeah. I
Superman,
might, I might dig it if
No,
it was Superman. I might.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I
no,
think I think
I
most
don't.
people probably would give it. I mean, a lot of people still liked it, but I think it would be way better received by, especially by actual Superman fans, if I mean Superman fan. I mean, by animation fans, if it wasn't Superman. Like, it's
Because
not
I
Superman. It's a different
understand.
character that they're
Yeah,
putting the S on.
yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's kind of what it appears to be.
Because here's the thing, like they're like you've got the Sailor Moon transformation, which it doesn't make any sense. It's stupid. He doesn't need to. It doesn't need to be there. There's the fact that they essentially just turned. They keep trying to turn Kryptonians into Super Saiyans for some reason, but uh,
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Kara is just Android 18. She's just Android 18.
yeah.
Here's the thing:
That's right.
there have been other characters inspired by Android 18. One of my favorite characters is Blue Mary from Fatal Fury or King of Fighters. She's inspired. Her design is inspired by Android 18, but they didn't just steal the design; they actually tweaked it and made it an original design and character. Where you look at her and you say that's Blue Mary. You don't say that's Android 18.
Yeah,
You see the
right, right.
inspiration. The
I agree.
Supergirl, I'm like, well, this is she's
Android
just
18.
Android
Yeah,
18.
that's
Yeah,
exactly right.
and it
Well,
doesn't make
And
any
of course,
sense.
they still race swap Jenny. So he's a, and not only that, but he's like this very soy boy.
Yeah, he's just the effeminate black kid and whatever. And
it's funny because isn't that a trope? Effeminate black kids have been going on a lot in
It
franchises
is.
now.
It's very. It seems to be very common now, right? Even in that Spider Man one they did. Uh,
Yeah, where they
they,
race swap Norman and
yeah,
Harry
yeah,
Osborn. Yeah,
exactly. It's like, what are they doing here? Like, yeah, it's very frustrating. But yeah, it has that.
these
Lois has short hair. She
metrosexual
looks like a
black.
little. Lois looks like a little boy. Her hair is cut
I mean,
very
and
short.
they also race up Lois Lane and all that. So
So,
pretty much.
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, but I mean, I just don't. From a story standpoint, from a dialogue standpoint, it feels like a lot the writers don't have any experience with real dealing with real people, and so they have to compensate by adding a bunch of uh, internet and anime references that their friends on Tumblr, they know that their friends on Tumblr are going to understand.
well, and that's, well, you just nailed it. It's a very very narrow minded point of view of these IP. That's what it. They think they're, like I said, they think they're doing you a favor by saying, "Oh, let's meme it up, right? Let's
Well,
add these
okay,
memes into this IP,
so this
and now it's
actually
cool." That's what they're doing.
Yeah,
brings up something interesting because I've been working on a character for my universe uh, that's very much inspired by, well, I'm going to say 70s anime. I'm talking things like Mazinger Z,
Yeah,
it was niggas named
Granddaddy,
Common Rider. Yeah,
Kamen Rider, Gotcha Man,
yeah,
Ultraman. Well, Ultraman live action, but that's live actions. But yeah,
yeah, we get it. A lot of tokusatsu stuff. It seems.
yeah, and Sentai at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, same thing. Yeah, yeah, I got you.
So now I want to be genuine and authentic. I don't want to just fill it with memes and tropes and stuff for the sake of it. Uh,
Well, of course not. I mean, I don't. There's nothing wrong with referencing, memes and stuff like that. We've been doing that forever, even before our modern understanding of meme. One of the most famous Godzilla scenes is when they bring him to space to fight Gamera. He does the little Godzilla dance. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah. Now it's funny you should
And
mention.
that was based off of a kid's phenomenon. That's why they made him do that.
It's funny you should mention Godzilla because I've never been a big Godzilla fan. I have nothing against Godzilla. I
Yeah.
think it's cool. But I saw Godzilla -1, and I thought it was phenomenal.
It's great.
Phenomenal.
It's great. It's awesome.
It is amazing, and it it puts the legendary American movies to shame. They were trash.
But they're my trash. No, I get it. No, it's one of my favorite Godzilla movies next to the first one. It's for me. It's Godzilla 54,
Mhm.
Godzilla versus Space Godzilla, um, Godzilla minus one, Godzilla, Godzilla. What's it called? Godzilla King Kong.
King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, that's my favorite.
You mean like the original, like this, not the
Yeah, the
new one?
original. Yeah, the original.
yeah, I do like the original one too.
No, I like the original. I like the original better than the remake. The
Well,
remake
well,
is watchable,
No,
but
I'm not
well,
saying
here's
that
the thing.
all of the recent franchise of were bad. I did
I also
enjoy
I also
no,
like
they're
King
not.
of
They're
Monsters. I
not.
also like King of Monsters. King of Monsters is good.
Yeah, King of Monsters is very
which
good.
one though? Which one?
Godzilla King of Monsters.
But which one?
The
Which
remake, the new one,
That's
or the
I mean
original?
that's the second one.
But huh? Isn't there an original King of Monsters?
No, it's not. It's just
I thought there
Godzilla.
was. Yeah,
Yeah,
isn't
I
there?
thought there
Oh,
was.
you know what? I'm thinking Destroy All Monsters.
yeah. You think of Destroy All
That's the one
Monsters?
I'm
Okay,
thinking of.
so
Yeah, you're
with
right.
King of Monsters, like
King of the Monsters is the one that came out in 2019. That's where
Yeah,
one
that
where he
one was good.
fights.
Yeah,
right, but
I enjoyed that one. Yeah, that
that
was very
one
good.
that one
Yeah,
is good if
yeah.
it wasn't for how insufferable the mom was.
Well,
Yeah,
Oh
she
my
he was
was.
the bad guy,
She
so
was.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, she was supposed to be redeemed at the end, right?
She
But
was so annoying.
yeah,
sure, but
she
she
was. I agree. It
dies. So.
was. I mean, that whole subplot was kind of pretentious.
Really
But
stupid.
because everything else was stronger, especially Godzilla himself, right?
The
Yeah,
monster fights are great.
And
Yeah,
listen,
yeah,
I love the only human character I liked was the dad.
yeah.
yeah.
I
Because
like the
when
dad.
Godzilla was resuscitated and he rose out of the water and he's standing there on the sub and he gave him that look,
Yeah, that was so
yo, I
crazy.
was like, yo,
You know
okay,
which one I really liked was Kong Skull Island. I really liked that one. I do.
yeah, that was actually surprisingly good.
Oh,
That was a
really?
good watch.
I
Yeah,
don't think I
Kong
saw that
Skull
one.
Island was okay. It wasn't bad at all actually. Because once again, Kong was center stage, right? So um, yeah, it was pretty. I didn't care for Samuel Jackson's character. It was a bit odd, but it didn't take away from. It was still a good watch.
And
So,
you know what? Even Brie Larson was actually tolerable in that movie.
yeah, that's true. It was her and the other guy, right?
And Loki, what's his name?
Yeah, yeah, I forgot his name though, but yeah, so that was kind of interesting. But
It's
it
funny that
was it was a good watch.
it's
I
funny that
do
all
think
three of
that.
those actors have been part of the MCU.
Yeah, I mean it's probably in their contracts, so who knows?
Yeah.
They get all these movie deals.
Um,
But yeah, that was a good movie.
Godzilla versus Kong was good, but then the one after that, oh god, it was so bad.
Which
Yeah, what
one?
was
Are you
that?
talking about?
Godzilla
The one where they fight
Kong
the Scar
something.
King.
Yeah,
That was horrible.
you
I
know
like
what?
that movie. It
Nah,
should have been just about Kong though. It should have been
I
just
liked
about Kong.
everything up until King Kong rejoined Godzilla. Everything before that was fun because it was just Godzilla in the Middle Earth,
You mean
and he's
Kong?
like having these.
You
Yeah,
mean King
Kong. I'm
Kong?
sorry,
Yeah.
King Kong in Middle Earth having these
Yeah. It should have
adventures.
just been about the monsters.
Yeah, they should have just did that as a movie, like that whole stretch of the movie up until he meets Scar King and everything, and was actually a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, but after that, it just goes off the rails and
Well,
just
the thing is though, to me, those movies have incredibly bloated budgets,
yeah, they do.
right?
This
So
is true.
so I compare that to something like Godzilla minus one, which was made at a fraction of the
Yeah,
budget,
yeah.
and it was a much better movie.
Oh man,
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's actually my number one. Like when it comes to Godzilla movies, it's become my
It
top.
is, and I'm really
I mean,
excited
yeah,
for the
that's
sequel.
fair.
I'm
Yeah,
excited for the sequel.
I am too. Yeah, it's listen,
And I wanted to watch it in theaters. I didn't get a chance to, but the sequel, I'm probably gonna watch in theaters.
I've seen it both in
yeah,
color and in black and white.
It's
I
good.
saw
Okay,
it
I'm
with
gonna
yeah,
be,
same here. And but I didn't get to see it in theaters, so I'm gonna go watch it in theaters when
yeah.
the second one comes out. 'Cause it's
I did
totally
want to
worth
ask you guys because I saw Transformers One. Did you guys see that?
Oh, best Transformers movie.
it. Yes,
Okay,
Yes, I saw it.
I liked I this okay. So I wanted to kill Alita One.
That's hilarious. Yeah,
He was kind of insufferable.
She
yeah.
was.
It's something about when they do these female characters, right? Um, yeah, she was, but I kind of, and this is what I, when I watched it, I thought, well, maybe she's kind of supposed to be, because it helped to sort of facilitate, the narrative a bit. But like the scene where they all get kidnapped and Optimus, it's her and Optimus Prime left behind, right?
Right, but even
That's where
then,
I was
but
like,
even
no,
even
she
in that
is she is
thing
annoying.
is even in
Yeah,
that speech, she has to say that she's better than him at
yeah,
everything.
that's my point. That's what I'm saying. It's like when I saw that, that's when I realized, yeah,
Like,
they they
what
they
a
had a
jerk.
they had an opportunity to redeem her as a character and make her likable,
Yeah.
and they blew it with that line. That's kind of what I was going. It's like up to that point, I thought, okay, she's kind of supposed to be, but eventually she's going to come around,
Also, Bumblebee
right?
was a little much.
He was a lot of much, but
Yeah.
I still enjoyed him. I
I
still,
like Bumblebee more than
just
Alita
because
One.
I do like what's his name, Keegan Michael
Yeah.
Keenan, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, he's
He
funny.
is funny, and he was in like Toy Story 4 and all that. And, he's pretty good at voice acting. But he was a lot of fun. But yeah, I like the fact that at least Bumblebee has a personality in this movie, and it's a likable personality, and he's talking, and it's not this
I mean,
nonsense
yeah,
that Michael
Yeah.
Bay did
I
with
mean,
the
he was a little
radio crap.
much, but
You
it
know,
didn't
yeah,
hate him as much as I hated Alita One.
yeah, yeah. He was a fun character. And that's part of what made people, because they use a lot of his scenes in the trailer,
Yeah.
and I think that's what gave the impression that this is just a dumb kids movie,
Yeah.
because they
I
they
like what they
focus
did
on
with
those gags so
Starscream
much.
and how his
Yeah,
voice sounds
Yeah,
the way it
that was
was.
nuts. That was
yeah.
crazy.
That
It
was
was
pretty
that was well
cool.
done. Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I had my nitpicks though.
yeah, me too.
Overall, I still love the movie, but my one of my nitpicks, I felt like we needed a little bit more development with Megatron and
Uh, I
see, you guys, we argued about this before, because I was like, we needed just one more scene where we see the foreshadowing, the setup for him to finally, basically go to the dark side,
I
right?
mean,
Yeah,
I feel like they set it up pretty
That's how I felt.
well. He was a literal cog in the machine. He thought that if he just played by the rules, that everything would go well. He gets disillusioned when he finds out that he was betrayed. He's constantly
Right.
having this to help Pax out of situations, so he feels used. He finds out that
Well, I
the
don't know.
person that he looked up
That's the
to,
part where I nitpick is there wasn't enough. There needed to be at least one more situation for him to be the guy that saves his buddy, right? Where it's like, I can't be this guy that saves you all the time, and I don't think that happened. And that's why that scene where he chooses to
well,
kill
it
him
happens a few times.
at the beginning in the first act.
Oh yeah,
Right, that's what I'm saying. But you understand what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, we got that, but there was no frustration. Like, this is the last straw type of attitude, and that's what I'm talking about.
hmm
After they get their transforming powers, there should have been another scene where that happened. That's the point I'm making. There should have been a scene
yeah.
between when they got the powers and they escaped, and before they got captured by the Decepticons. The early
I'm disappointed that Wheeljack wasn't in it. Wheeljack is my favorite Autobot. So
really.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Overall, I thought it was a great movie. It was fun to watch. Um, it was almost Shakespearean, and
the ending when he becomes Optimus Prime, that was awesome. That was
That was
cool.
yeah,
sick.
that was great. It's like that's what we've been asking for over the last like 2 decades,
Yeah.
of Transformers movies. Is give us Transformers one without too many gags, right? Like that's really it. Like, and instead we got all this, and you're like, the movies made money, I guess, but
I
you know,
tried watching Rise of the Beast though.
oh, that was terrible.
Why? Why would
Terrible
you do
movie.
that?
Well, I tried to. I tried.
I
And
did. I watched it all the way to the end, and the
I
best
did
part is
not because
Bumblebee diving out of the to
I
play
was
it
out
is.
when
You know.
what they assassinated Optimus Prime to be this cynical, jaded,
Yeah, that made
guy.
no
Yeah,
sense. That was the most
yeah.
ridiculous thing.
That's not Optimus Prime. What are you
Yeah,
doing?
it's
What are
so
you?
silly, and that's what I mean. It's like I
Well,
don't
even
know.
Peter Cullen didn't like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's absurd. It's an absurdity. But once again, that's what I'm saying. It's I don't know. It's like before the MCU, it was the Transformers franchise with Michael Bay. Like I
Yeah.
was jaded by that after the first
Yeah.
movie. I was
Yeah.
like, I am tired of this. This is not Transformers. None of the movies were objectively good. They're watchable, but they're not good.
I wanted a movie that was just like the whole movie was just like the intro for Bumblebee. That's what I want in a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
exactly right. And that's what I mean. Like
The opening
I
scene in
don't even like the Bumblebee movie, but I
I've
like
seen the
that
Bumblebee movie.
beginning. I like that beginning.
the beginning is amazing. It's like
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
it's
want that.
awesome.
I
Yep,
want a whole movie of that.
that's what we've been asking for, and
Well,
we
then
still
you got to play the video games then.
I played, yeah,
right. Yeah,
I played War on
You got to
Cybertron
play
and
War on
whatever. Yeah,
Cybertron. Yeah.
played those.
that's funny. But
Uh,
yeah, it's So even before all this, I mean, it wasn't woke, but it was still just not good. You know, subpar movie making, right?
which one?
You
Over,
talking about
over.
Bumblebee?
No, the Transformers movies, the movie
Oh, the Michael
franchise.
Bay.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
the Michael Bay crap. They
Yeah.
really weren't objectively good. You know,
Oh, yeah, most of them were awful.
Oh, I mean,
yeah.
and can we?
Especially everything after the third one with Mark Hamill was just dumb.
Mark Hamill. Oh no, you're talking about Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Can we
Well,
talk about? Can we talk about how much of a disaster this Masters of the Universe movie is going to be?
They're making a Master of the Universe movie.
yeah, they are
Yeah.
again. Yeah, and I'm not. I don't know. I'm not feeling it to be honest. So
So I mean, I've already heard it.
I mean, I haven't seen anything, but
I've
Well, they haven't
seen.
had any trailers or anything, but
Yeah,
the
they've shown some like. Wasn't there like a photo
casting
of
announcements
yeah
and
the
okay,
guy, the
for
lead?
one
Wasn't
thing,
there? Wasn't he dressed up as He Man?
Idris Silva is playing Man at Arms, so which is up like what?
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, I don't know.
Uh,
I, listen.
Bravado is now a female
I,
robot,
yeah, I'm not feeling it. So
and I was like, oh well, you're gonna ruin another one of my favorite '80s franchise. When the sky is blue, okay.
yeah, I'm not excited about it, and I don't think anyone really is, to be honest. So
I mean, I haven't heard anybody talk about it. So
yeah, it's been kind of under the radar. So
Yeah, but once the trailer drops, it's gonna be all over the internet. You know it.
yeah, that's true. Now I
Uh,
did see the new Super Mario Galaxy movie trailer
oh
teaser.
oh,
yeah, that
really?
was
So
nuts.
that's gonna be a sequel to the one that a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
I guess so, yeah. Which I'm a little surprised because I
we
that
just
is
went straight
Galaxy.
to Super Mario Galaxy. It's crazy.
I
Yeah,
thought,
that's what I'm saying. I thought it's kind
yeah,
of
that's a little
soon, right?
weird.
Yeah.
Here's the
So
thing, though. There when you really look at it, there's no real continuity within the Mario
No,
universe. But
really.
my hope is that they do a better job with the world building because I felt like we barely got to know the Mushroom Kingdom in the first movie.
I did.
Because
I enjoyed the movie. I really liked it.
yeah, I enjoyed it too. I mean, Jermaine, my brother will tell you, I was giggling throughout the whole thing because I like Mario. I like Mario, and it was a fun movie. Um,
yeah, it was decent. I have no real complaints about it.
yeah, me
Even
neither.
though Seth Rogen's in it, I still liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
despite Seth Rogen being in it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I
He was
like
fine
Donkey
as
Kong.
Donkey.
Donkey
Yeah,
Kong was funny.
yeah. His voice was fine for Donkey Kong. I didn't have a problem, but I just don't care for him. But yeah, it was fine.
But yeah, we
Pretty
jumped
good.
straight into Mario Galaxy. It was nuts. It's like going from I don't know Sonic 2 to Sonic Adventure or something. Well, I mean to be fair, Sonic they did do that with Sonic. But it
Yeah,
went from
Sonic. Yeah,
Sonic and Knuckles straight to Sonic Adventure 2, which is
yeah,
kind of
that's true.
nuts.
Which is, listen, for the movies, they gotta go hard, right?
Yeah.
And with Super Mario, they have a lot to pull from.
They do. They
So,
really
and
do.
the fact that Nintendo is working closely with them, because you notice it says Nintendo plus Illumination.
You know,
Yeah.
It doesn't just say Illumination, which means
it's
Illumination
ironic because
don't own
initially
it outright.
I
You understand?
remember I remember when they first announced it and they said that that Chris Chris
Oh,
Pratt was going to be
Chris Pratt.
Mario.
Yeah.
I was very against it. I'm like, what?
Oh, I
Chris
was laughing
Pratt
my
is
butt
going to be
off.
Mario? But
Yeah.
then I saw the trailers, I saw the movie. It actually works because if you ever saw the Super Mario Brothers
The Super
cartoon,
Mario Brothers Super Show. Yeah.
right? It's he has
Yeah.
that New York Italian accent. He does it pretty well,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Hey,
and
I
paisanos.
think he
Yeah,
did a
I
good
remember.
job.
and
I
Charlie
think,
Charlie Day as Luigi is perfect.
yeah, he was
I
great.
agree.
Yeah,
I
he
agree.
was spot on with Luigi. Yeah. So I'm excited about this. This
So
is
the one thing that I'm excited for is if they're doing Galaxy, they're gonna have to introduce Rosalina,
Uh huh.
and Rosalina is arguably the best written Mario character in the series. For starters, she actually has a backstory and like an actual character arc. She's kind of like this cosmic entity
mm,
that's in charge of protecting the universe, and it's hinted at that she's actually like Luigi's daughter or something from the future. It gets crazy.
oh, that
Wow.
sounds
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. There's actual lore in the Galaxy games.
Well, like I
So,
said, I'm excited because
So
Nintendo is deeply connected to this. So
yeah.
they're not just licensing it off for a quick buck like Marvel did and DC.
Well,
Uh,
I think they learned I think they learned their lesson from the live action movie. So,
yeah.
yeah,
fair enough.
I agree. Yeah, I think you're right, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So, because sometimes Nintendo, at least in the gaming space, they're not always on the
Well, the
side of the
Switch 2, for
gamer, right?
example.
They're not always doing things that
The Switch
gamers
2
want.
launch
So
was a disaster. Let's face it.
yeah, it was, and
Which one?
Switch to,
Oh, yeah.
but in the movie space, I think that will be a good thing
What do
because
you?
they seem to be pretty anal with their
I
product.
I I have to say I was worried about the Legend of Zelda movie being live action, but with the casting that I've seen, I'm like, wait a second, this might actually be pretty great.
Yeah, like once again, as long as they stay true to the
I
source.
do you guys know about the whole controversy with the casting of Zelda, or do you guys know Princess Zelda?
No.
Yeah, well, it was rumored it was going to be some transgender actor, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
and,
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and
at
then
first, but then
when you
they
cast an
had an actual
actual
female. Yeah,
female, like the liberals and the wokies just went insane
yeah,
with
they got
rage.
upset. Yeah, which I'm like relieved.
Yeah.
It's like don't do that.
No,
That
but
is
but
terrible.
the actors they have playing Link and Zelda look spot on. Like,
Yeah, she does. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
She looks good.
and Link also. Link like the guy who's going to be Link looks really.
Okay, I haven't seen him yet, so that'll be
Yeah.
interesting. Okay. Yeah, but right. I mean, people were cheering this on to cast a transgender
Yeah.
female, and it's like people are delusional. They really are. Either they're not real people or they're just delusional.
I'm curious how they're going to do Ganondorf. Like how they're going to do Ganon. Like
Yeah,
Listen,
that's gonna be a lot harder.
yeah, but
Well, it depends on what version of Ganondorf they're gonna do because there's the
pig version,
yeah, and
and
then
then there's
there's
the
which is like the
Gerudo
yeah,
guy later on. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, they'll
because
do
in the classic games he's essentially a giant orc, but in the everything after Ocarina of Time he was like an actual guy. So it really
um,
depends on which story they're adapting.
hopefully they'll go
Honestly,
with the more fantastical version, right? That'll be more interesting.
well, I mean, yeah,
it
well,
varies between games, but yeah.
yeah. I I would like uh, a Metroid movie. Uh, Now the danger with the Metroid movies that could easily fall into the Mary Sue category.
Well, here's the thing.
True.
What's cool
Yeah.
about Metroid is that it's essentially space Batman. Like when you look at Samus's story and you look
Yeah.
at Batman's background, there's a lot of parallels. So, and on top of that, because it's essentially Batman meets aliens, and so there's a lot of potential for cool crime fighting, like intergalactic crime fighting,
Mhm.
something similar to like Space Adventure Cobra. If you ever seen Space
Yeah,
Adventure
I
yeah,
Cobra,
have.
that's right. Yeah.
I
but there's also a lot of potential for horror and stuff like that, not just from the monsters, but from Samus herself. Because
Yeah,
in the context of the universe, Samus is a bounty hunter with a record of having of planets blowing up, every planet she visits exploding. So everybody is just as afraid of Samus as they are of everybody else. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah,
So there could be scenes where we see where Samus is the quote unquote alien. You know what I'm saying? Like she's the big scary.
yeah.
just as long as they don't cast like Brie Larson as Samus or something.
Please don't. Yeah, hopefully it'll be a newcomer and she'll be
Yeah,
likable.
yeah.
Yeah.
They could also pull from the comics as well. There was a manga that came out a long time ago. I used to read where this kid from his name was Joey. It was based off like Super Metroid, but basically this kid from this space colony snuck on the Samus's ship and you know ends up being a stowaway and goes on an adventure with Samus. And it was really fun. It was very Mandalorian like,
Hmm.
and obviously he doesn't know who Samus is. He just and she doesn't really talk a whole lot. She's very stoic, and she never, much like the Mandalorian, you never see her face.
Hmm.
So he just thinks that she's just, oh, he's the big dude. He's scary. He has no idea what Samus looks like. So it's pretty entertaining.
Hmm, interesting.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that should be fun.
Yeah, they could do a lot with
yeah.
with that
Well, you
franchise.
could do a lot if you're familiar with if you actually take advantage of the source material, right?
Yeah, and I think Nintendo will. I
Well,
think
Nintendo would, but not everybody does.
no, no, not
Yeah,
not everybody does.
but that's why I'm hopeful with Nintendo and the
Yeah, Space
Illumination.
Jam.
They've proven they can do good stories, great
Oh,
animation.
by the way, that reminds me.
So
Have you guys seen Next Level on Amazon? It's these little
Uh,
shorts.
the anthology one. I
Yeah.
haven't seen all of them. I only
Okay.
cared
Have you
about the Mega
seen the
Man
Mega Man?
one.
Have you seen the Mega Man one?
Oh, it was
yeah,
awesome. That's my
yeah,
favorite one.
yeah. I saw
That
the Mega Man. Yeah,
that should be the people who make a Mega Man movie.
Yeah,
yeah, I
absolutely.
agree. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
We'll see if that happens. But yeah,
Well, there was a fan made movie a long time ago, made by yeah, it came out in 2010. Made by the people who made there was like a fan made Sonic movie. The Sonic movie was okay. The Mega Man movie was pretty bad. It was pretty hammy,
uh,
but and plus it was live action. I think Mega Man's something that works. It's like Astro Boy. You got to animate it.
no, no. I
yeah,
was very
I agree with that.
impressed with the Mega Man episode of the anthology. I thought, wow, yes, these
Yeah, that was
people.
really
If
nice, and it looked
Capcom wants
beautiful.
to
Yeah,
make a Mega Man movie, these people need to do it.
yeah. Well, I'm
Oh yeah,
hoping the future going forward with Hollywood, at least, with these anthological series, is that they'll start sourcing original, not just original stories, but original talent,
Yeah.
right? And pulling them in and say, hey, okay, do this, but on a bigger scale or a bigger budget, right? And give us this Mega Man movie or series, or that's what I'm hoping for, because it's indicative of that, right? They're getting these anthological series. They're getting these shorts from independent animators and producers and writers
Hmm.
and artists, and they're just compiling it together. Like they're not
Yeah.
producing this stuff from scratch,
I
right? They're
was
compiling
yeah,
it from the internet.
I was very impressed with the Mega Man one. The Warhammer, the Space Marine Warhammer 40K.
yeah.
Good too.
That was okay. Yeah, that
That
was
made me want to play Warhammer. That
yeah,
was
that was
really
Yeah.
good.
good.
I like a lot of the Warhammer stuff that I see on
Yeah.
YouTube. It's always really top notch. So
Yeah.
the only one
Even
I hate it is the Pac-Man
oh, that was what the heck was I?
one.
What was
I
that?
hate it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
What?
not Pac-Man. I don't know what it is.
Oh
It's not
man,
Pac-Man.
What was that?
That is
man!
some
Remember when he
trash.
had a wife and kids?
Yeah, like when he had a smile on his face and he was
Yeah.
like, "What are they doing?"
They yeah they just want to
That
subvert
is going to crash and burn,
the
man. That
they
is going
just
to
want to
crash and burn.
subvert the kid friendliness of
I
Pac-Man.
don't.
Now.
I don't know, but why? It's like it's not really. Here's the thing: they tried to reboot Pac-Man several times, to varying degrees of quality. Like there was like the whole era where they tried to turn Pac-Man into like this Sonic type of mascot, where he was like a kid and he
Yeah, I
was
remember that.
yeah,
Yeah, and they
and
try to make him appear younger. And, yeah, I
yeah, and
mean,
more anime like, and
and
that
that's
was weird.
fine. I mean, but this is that whatever they were doing with that is not Pac-Man. I don't know what that is. They need to just name it something else.
Well,
And
here's the thing about Pac-Man. Pac-Man has sort of become a symbol of the '70s, basically era of arcade video games. Like even in like Smash Brothers, most of his attacks are they're stuff from his games, but they're also references to like Galaga and stuff like that,
right, yeah,
right? But because Namco, and so um, yeah, '70s and '80s. But so they could easily like do a like the whole retro futuristic vibe fits well for Pac-Man. Like they did, what's it called, Pac-Man DX or whatever,
Hmm.
and that was a very like retro, futuristic type of vibe. It almost felt like they were combining like Pac-Man and Tron in
Oh,
terms of
by the
aesthetic
way,
wise.
have you guys? Do you guys know about I like Popeye?
oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Marcus Williams is the artist and
hmm
writer. Yeah, very good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, his art is gorgeous.
Like
I love it.
what's weird about that is that you you wouldn't think that blending Popeye with like Shonen Jump, Dragon Ball Z type of
Yeah,
aesthetic would work. You
yeah.
would
oh
think that they would
it works.
clash. They don't
No, it
clash.
doesn't.
No, of course not.
He's done a very good
Popeye was the
job.
original Dragon Ball.
Yeah, it's
What's weird is that he manages to infuse it with all the charm, the humor of these characters. You know,
yeah,
Olive Oil, Wimpy, Popeye,
yeah,
Pluto.
exactly.
They're all the way they're supposed to be. The way that you
Yeah, it's the
remember them
same
to.
Popeye humor, exactly,
Yes,
and he brings it in very well.
he brings it in very
Yeah,
well,
yeah, it's top notch
and
stuff.
then with like really 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 cool action. Like whoa,
Yeah, yeah.
like I I can't find issue 5 though.
Oh really? Okay.
I can't find it. I only have issues 1 through 4. I'm hoping they do a collected one, and then I'll just get it that way.
Yeah, but they did do issue 5, so I'm
Yeah,
sure it's
they
out
did do
there
issue
somewhere.
5, but it's
Yeah,
like I can't get it on the website. I
it's
gotta
hard
look.
to find. Huh? Yeah,
See, a lot of people are under the impression that a lot of hardcore fans are just stuck in the past or whatever. Having standards isn't the same thing as being stuck in the past. And what a lot of people don't under like get is that uh, we like seeing new stuff done with our favorite characters, but it has to capture the essence, right?
Of
So
the
there's
original.
an yeah. Well, there's an essence of of Popeye that I Lie Popeye captures, even though it's in a more anime manga inspired format, right?
yeah,
There's a reason why people like Sonic 3 because even though it's got a lot of the Hollywood like well, we gotta have people, we gotta have a sassy black woman at some point, we gotta have
You know,
this
but it's funny.
weird, but
I don't hate the human characters in the Sonic movies.
I don't hate most of them. I
yeah.
like
The
the
movies
dad. I
are
just
fine.
don't like
They're,
the
they're okay.
all the other side characters. But
The aunt, whatever the
The sister or
the
whatever.
sister
Yeah,
yeah,
of
the
the
sassy
girlfriend.
black woman. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
god, I hate
She's the
that.
worst. I know.
yeah. That's I mean, and I don't mind her character. What my biggest nitpick with that was in Sonic. I think it was 2,
Yeah, Sonic
the
2.
wedding, like that whole
Oh
wedding scene.
yes.
That was just
Yeah,
too
it
much.
just dragged on
It was
for
too
too
much. I
long
was
for
like,
no reason.
yeah, they just throwing all these gags, and I kind of feel like it was meant. Maybe it was just done for filler, to extend the movie a bit. Because I'm just like these scenes are so unnecessary.
You're gonna
Like
find you're gonna
nobody wants this.
guys, you're gonna find this ironic, but I literally went to the website where I've gotten all the issues, and issue 5 is there. Oh,
Oh, nice.
so I'm gonna do that
There you
right
go.
now.
Nice, nice.
But
But
yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah, I
but yeah.
wasn't, I wasn't a big fan of that scene. But thankfully, it doesn't detract from the movie overall. It's still a great movie.
It's
But
still enjoyable.
yeah,
And I know that a lot of hardcore Sonic fans don't like these movies.
Well, it depends on
well,
who you talk to.
that's
I mean, I
understandable, I
consider
suppose.
myself a hardcore Sonic fan. Listen, I'll tell you right now that everybody that I've never been in a more loud movie theater than the premiere of Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Uh-huh.
Everybody was going bananas. Like everybody was yelling. As soon as Live and Learn uh, came on, I'm pretty sure there's a recording of me out there just shouting "Let's go" at the top of my lungs.
Live and Learn. Like, is that a song from?
That's the theme song to Sonic Adventure 2. So Sonic 3 is a movie adaptation of Sonic Adventure 2.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's why they brought
I'm
in Shadow.
I'm I'm surprised they did Shadow before Metal Sonic though.
Yeah, me too. I'm surprised it didn't Shadow at all. It's kind of weird jumping from haha friendly Alvin and the Chipmunk antics to war crimes because that's essentially what Shadow's story is. So, but
But
they
I
pulled it
think
off pretty well.
they did Shadow pretty well. I think, but like so they're gonna do Metal Sonic because at the end the end credits scene.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, they brought in Metal Sonic and Amy,
Yeah,
so they're
yeah.
probably going to do something like Sonic CD. So they're probably going to go to another planet at some point.
But who's gonna be the
Yeah,
bad guy?
that's kind of what I've been waiting for
I don't
Who's
know.
gonna
to
be the
get
bad
the,
guy if it's not gonna be Robotnik?
Well, they've been hinting at
well, yeah,
Mistopheles from Sonic 06 because they hinted at him during the Knuckles show, and he's a bad guy from
I I
uh,
I heard the Knuckles
Sonic
show was pretty
06.
bad. Is it? Is it?
Oh,
yeah,
it's awful!
it
It's
was
awful.
awful. Yeah, it was
Knuckles himself was fine. He was
yeah, he was
the
Knuckles. Like
best part of the
his
show.
portrayal was fine.
But the
Just the
problem is
story
that Knuckles wasn't the main character in
was
his own
dumb.
show.
Yeah, it was a dumb movie. I mean, a dumb series. It was
Yeah.
completely unnecessary. It was dumb. It was just bad writing. Um, and I'm not sure what it was for. Like I don't know what the point of doing it was.
Hmm.
It just seems so weird, like that they did it. Um, yeah, it was kind of like, yeah, why are we? What are we doing here? you know, like why didn't they do a series with the other characters, with
With
Sonic and
Sonic
Tails, and
and Tails,
like
yeah.
they're 3D animated characters, guys. You know, you know what I mean? Like get the voice actors in the booth. I doubt if it would have took a whole lot of time or effort, you know,
Yeah.
and or cost any more,
Yeah.
Well,
So it's kind
you
of
think
odd.
well, I mean, you think Sega well, I mean Sega do you think they're gonna do it like other franchises like Golden Axe or
Well, recently they've been pushing this campaign of revitalizing a lot of their old franchises.
well,
So
okay, it's funny you
we're
should mention
getting
I got the Shinobi game. It's freaking amazing.
so there's Shinobi. They're making a new 3D Streets of Rage. They're making a new Crazy Taxi. They're making a new Jet Set Radio,
And they're
and
making
they're
a new
making
Golden
3D.
Axe.
Yeah, they're making a new Golden Axe. So anything's possible.
Uh,
So
the
and those
Shinobi
were
game
like the old
is
pillars.
Shinobi game is top notch. I highly recommend it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. It looks awesome. I love Revenge of Shinobi and Shinobi 3, so it looks pretty good.
It's great. Also, the Ninja Gaiden Rage Bound is also pretty good.
Yeah, that's another one I need to try out. Um, I wasn't too big on Ninja Gaiden just because it was they're hard,
Yeah, yeah. No,
but
it's
yeah,
difficult, but
but yeah, I am excited for that. I don't know if they'll do a movie. I mean, right now the big pillars of Sega have been
Sonic and
uh,
well,
well,
Sonic.
not even Sonic because Sonic's not all that popular in Japan. The Yakuza
Really?
series. I was gonna say no.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Sonic appeals more to Americans than it does Japan. The Sonic 3 movie actually didn't do very well in Japan.
What about Mario over
That's
there?
surprising.
Mario, I mean, everyone loves Mario. Mario. But the thing is that
Everybody loves
Mario,
Mario.
ironically, is it's a more Japanese franchise than Sonic is. Sonic is a more American franchise. So even though Mario, here's the thing, it's like even though Mario stars like an Italian Brooklyn plumber, all of the bad guys are based off of Japanese mythology. Bowser is essentially the Ox King from Journey to the West. It's a very Japanese series. Sonic, however, it's got the Death Star, it's got the Dragon Balls with the Chaos Emeralds. Eggman is essentially Theodore Roosevelt. Sonic's personality was based off of Bill Clinton allegedly, and
What?
and you know he's got Michael Jackson's shoes with Santa Claus colors. Like he was made to appeal. He was made for Americans. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, definitely makes sense.
So
But yeah, I'm excited about that Super Mario Galaxy.
Me
So
too.
I
I
hope hope it does well. I hope it's good.
I like the first one quite a bit.
Yeah,
So
I do. I love the first one. It
yeah, we'll
was
see what
a lot of fun.
happens.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I wanted to bring up what happened this week. I don't know if you guys want to chat,
yeah.
just because I don't
I
want to pretend like it didn't happen.
I
You know.
I'm still pretty broken up about that. It hit me harder than I thought it would when I found
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Uh, and I've kind of been feeling it ever since, honestly. Um, and I even posted about it on X. And I try to stay away from heavily political or things like of that nature. But it affected me so much that I said something on X. But yeah, the Charlie Kirk assassination, it got to me. It did because I am a big fan of his. I admire, I respect him, and I aspire to be more like him.
Yeah. And I'll be honest. I share the same sentiment. It hit me way harder than I expected it to. I didn't. It completely caught me off guard. And what really got me was, it was already horrific. I accidentally saw the video. I didn't know what was going on until I saw the video because
So you
somebody.
saw the close-up video that showed
Yeah,
him getting
yeah.
shot in the back.
I was scrolling X, and there it was, and it just blew my mind. And but what got me was finding out that this guy was 31 years old, and that really hit me hard because my oldest son is 30, and so I'm like, this is my son. Like this guy was no older than my oldest son, and he's being taken out this way. It's terrible, and I wasn't a hardcore fan of Charlie Kirk. I didn't really follow his channels and all that stuff. I knew of him. I knew about him through
Oh,
third
so
party people. Um, through
apparent.
reaction channels, stuff like that. Clips. Clips and here and there, like of some of his debates. Like I watch Rattlesnake TV, which is a great channel. I love the guy, and he always covers debates. And so he's covered Charlie Kirk debating someone else, right? And that's how I became familiar with Charlie Kirk, prior to him passing away. So that's the extent of my knowledge. And then finding out more after he's married, he has kids, Um, and what really annoys me the most is not just the way he died, but a lot of the reactions to his death
Oh yeah,
are just,
disgusting.
yeah, disgusting. That's a good word for it. It's like, and listen, it's not about actually grieving someone that you don't know, right? Like I don't expect someone who doesn't know who Charlie Kirk is to all of a sudden start bawling and crying, when they find out. Right? That's that's ridiculous, right? If you don't know who this guy is, right? And I think that's a lot of people, right? Despite his popularity and the growth of his company, his organization, sure there's still just as many that followed him. There's many more that didn't know who he was, right? But the people that do, that are literally celebrating his death and the way he died, it's kind of like you're basing this anger and hate towards him off of a false understanding and a complete mischaracterization of his talking points.
Hmm.
And that's what's annoying about, and not just with Charlie Kirk. This has been going on for years. It's been going on with Trump and with so many others. And it's usually conservative leaning people, figures. Sometimes I've seen it with liberal, more liberal figures like a Bernie Sanders being mischaracterized. I've seen that happen, but it's rare. Like it's mostly conservative
Hmm.
leaning, or people that have been labeled conservative. I'll put it that way. Not even their actual, like for example, Eric July is not a conservative, right? He's not a Republican as far as I know. He's a libertarian. He's an anarcho-capitalist, right? But yet he's labeled a conservative because he rejects leftist or liberal or progressive ideologies and principles, right?
Right.
Which it's like, so if you reject something, you become the opposite of it. That's a very illogical thinking, right? But that's
Yeah,
what
but who
these
said they
people
were
do.
logical?
Yeah, right. And that's what I'm saying. It's like and I've had a few people comment some of my posts because I'm just sharing information about Charlie Kirk and other commentary, and they're just overreacting, insulting me, insulting Charlie Kirk, and completely mischaracterizing
what
his
what
points.
have they said? Like,
Well, like for example, one common, I guess it's kind of a meme now, of live by the sword, die by the sword. Well, why did they say that? Because Charlie Kirk advocated for Second Amendment rights, right? He advocated for gun rights. He said, look, we live in a world where, you need to be able to protect yourself, right? And unfortunately, the cost of having the right to bear arms means that there's going to
yes,
be
I did see the
nefarious.
video where he said that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's not what that saying means. And it does not apply to his commentary at all, right? Because Charlie Kirk was unarmed when he was shot. Charlie Kirk was not brandishing a weapon at any point in time up to this point, right? Charlie Kirk was not saying carry a gun everywhere you go and everything you do, no matter what. You understand? Charlie Kirk was advocating for ironically, the same people that are celebrating. He's advocating for your civil liberties, right? You have a right to bear arms, right? So that's not living by the sword. You're taking something from the Bible, something that Christ said, right, in a certain context that has nothing to do with the argument of the Second Amendment. And that's what's so annoying. It's like people lack basic critical thinking, where they really think this is a gotcha because they're saying live by the sword. It's like, no, no one, even someone who owns a gun, isn't living by the sword, right? Why? Because they're not solving all of their problems with the sword. That's literally what the statement means, is that the context is Peter using his sword to slice off the ear of a soldier, right? Why? Because that's the first thing he wanted to do. He wanted to fight for Jesus, right? And if you read the whole, the Gospels, you'll find out he was always that way, right? And Jesus always rebuked him for it.
Yeah.
You understand? He always wanted to use violence or something to solve the problem and protect. And you think, oh, he's zealous. And it's like, no, you're living by the sword. You think everything's about violence. You think you can solve these things by just fighting. You're looking for me to be this warrior right now, but I'm not your warrior today. I'm your savior, right? I'll be a warrior when I come back.
Have you guys seen The Chosen?
No, I haven't.
No, I don't want to watch it. I'm very picky. Well, I'm very critical when it comes to Jesus movies and stuff like that. But I'll just say this: what happened to Mr. Kirk is evidence of one very important fact, is that they weren't smart enough to argue against him, and so
They killed him.
they killed him. This was a man who, whether you agree with everything he says or not, who built his platform off of the idea of if you talk things out,
Open
that'll
discussion.
be
Right.
an open discussion.
And
And
that's
because they
yeah,
weren't willing, they couldn't combat him on at an ideological uh, front. They chose to kill him
chose
instead.
violence, right?
And
And
people need
yeah,
to be very very concerned about that
right.
because
And that's the other side of my concern is you're missing the point if you think it's about your perceived understanding of Charlie Kirk or people who hold to his ideological views. Oh, they're hateful and they're racist and they're homo this, phobe that, and whatever. It's like, no, bro, you're missing it, right? This guy was out there having a dialogue with people, right? He was saying, "This is what I believe. Prove me wrong. What do you believe? Let's push them together, right? Let's let them clash and have a conversation and see where we land, right? That's open dialogue. That's open discourse." And he was murdered for that.
The
It's like that should scare everybody.
Yeah, and like a lot of people are angry, and I understand. Like, I'm angry. I'm very angry. This is going to change everything. I mean,
Yeah, it does
this is going
because
to change
you're
everything.
going to get overreaction from both sides, but you're also going to get overreaction from the government. And that's what annoys me as well. It's like you're going to get a lot of overreaction where the point just gets missed, and now our civil liberties, our rights will be violated even more because of it, because people choose to mischaracterize this entire thing and they miss the entire point. You're losing your freedoms, right? The very things you claim you want, you want to be free to, you know dress like a woman or whatever. Like, you're free to do that, right? You claim you're oppressed because of the color of your skin, but you have a good paying job and you live in a house and you drive a car and you have electronics, but you're oppressed somehow, right? You want to keep believing these falsehoods, right?
Hmm.
And all it does is give these nefarious figures in government who want to create these policies to strip us of our actual liberties, right? And then it's crabs in a barrel
I mean,
because
so
honestly,
a lot of people choose to
I,
just
uh,
react.
I wouldn't be surprised if this was all planned out. I don't know.
I would either. I made the same comment to my boys the other day. We were talking about it. I was like, don't be, when you talk about false flags doesn't mean something doesn't happen, right? It doesn't mean they pretend to make something happen. It means something is happening and it's being used to manipulate you.
Yeah.
It's being used to drive a narrative and to push forth something, right? It's benefiting somebody. So, you can say this was a false flag. That's fine. You got to find out, well, who benefits from it. And I'm not saying it is. I don't know. They caught the guy. He's been arrested and everything and charged and all this
Oh, we
stuff.
think this is the guy. Huh?
Yeah, they think it's the guy. I mean, the father turned him in. He all but confessed to it. So hopefully it is him. He could be a patsy. He could be someone that was heavily manipulated to do it.
I
By
don't know. I'm
a
thinking this is
third
like
party.
deep state.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know. And that's what's frustrating about it, right? It's so random. Like, I don't know if Charlie Kirk was ever seen as a bona fide threat to the establishment in some way, right?
Well, I think he. I mean, I think he was. I think he
Yeah.
was.
I
But
mean,
I think
it's definitely
I think
possible.
what he was doing was working.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, he
working.
was effective. He was very effective.
It was effective,
His
and I think
methodology was working. It was turning the tide in
I
the
think he
minds
would.
of a lot of young people.
I also think he would have been president.
Yeah, I've heard that float around as well. That a lot of people were looking at him as because he would have been qualified in the next few years, I believe,
Mhm.
right,
Yeah.
to run for president. So, and someone like him, I'm looking at him, and like I said, I've gone back and looked at a lot of his videos, and I'm just like, yeah, I can see it. I can definitely see someone like him winning, you know, definitely winning a nomination, if not the presidency itself, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot, to kind of unpack with what happened and how it happened, and but like I said, for me, it's like, why are you cheering this on? It's the same with Trump. Why are you cheering that on? It's not about whether you like Trump as a president or not, right? It's like, for me, it's like I've talked to a friend who he hates Donald Trump. He's, oh, he's a liar and this and that. And I go, okay, I'm not going to argue whether or not he's a liar. I'm sure he's lied at some point, as even as president. But it's like, I'm not defending the man. What I'm telling you is, if you're gonna not like someone, at least not like them for the right reason, right? If you're gonna hate somebody, hate them for the right reason. Don't hate somebody based on lies. Hate the person based on what's true, so that now, because then you can reevaluate your hate and go, oh, maybe I shouldn't hate this person, right? Or if I hate them, at least I hate them because they really did something that's heinous, right? They
The
really stand for
problem
something that's terrible.
the
But
problem with
they're
that is that a
hate.
lot of a lot
Oh,
of
go ahead.
people
I'm
don't
sorry.
want to do that. They willfully ignore
Yes, they do. They
things.
willfully ignore it. And that's what I'm saying. That's what's so frustrating, to willfully ignore reality. It's right in front of you, right? It's in plain sight. You choose to keep your blinders on and say, no, this guy's a racist, even though there's literally no evidence of that.
No.
But
Yeah.
no, he's racist because he's white and because he doesn't agree with reparations.
Well, I mean,
That's absurd.
let me ask you guys a question. You guys, do you see a lot of like, I guess you guys are both, you're black, and do you guys see a lot of
Apparently, yeah.
apparently,
Last I checked in the mirror. Yeah.
um, so do you see a lot of the being white automatically makes you racist?
When you
Yeah.
talk to a
Yeah.
lot of black people, you realize that they don't want to end racism. They just wish they were the beneficiaries of racism.
Yeah. So the answer is yes. Like, especially here, we're in California, we're in LA.
Mhm.
A lot of black folks around us. Not everybody, but I would say most. If you're white, you're automatically assumed to be racist
By default.
by default. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad, but it's true, and it's for me. It's frustrating, right? It's annoying because, especially if you have white friends or something, and it's like, so you think this person who just loaned me money or helped me move, you know, is racist. Like, so racist white people are looking for black people to be friends with, to help them move and loan them money and hang out and go to dinner and treat them to dinner, you know. But
Yeah.
they're racist, right? Like, it's the most ridiculous thing, but it's true. And like I said, it's not everybody. It's but it's a good portion, and I, speaking for myself, I encounter it pretty regularly, where and it's not just whites. It's others. Meaning, if you're not black, then you're probably against me, right? So if you're Latino, if you're Asian, if it's the same sentiment. It's just
Really?
that whites are at the top, sort of the top of the top of the list, I guess.
Wow.
But yeah, it's sad, but it's true, and it's encouraged quite a bit through a lot of media, right? Um,
Mhm.
and that's the problem. It's like you're in these echo chambers, and that's all you hear, and that's all you see, and that's all you're told, right? Like, growing up, I never cared for the whole left versus right or conservative versus liberal. I grew up in the Reagan years, right?
Hmm.
So I liked Ronald Reagan, not because I liked his policies, because I had no clue,
I was named
but
after Ronald
but
Reagan.
Yeah, no, I'm no
Oh,
surprise.
okay.
Yeah, no. I actually met one of his relatives, a distant relative, a cousin of
Like
his.
literally,
Right.
literally, like
Yeah,
my
I'm
mom.
not
After
surprised.
I was born, see, I didn't have a name. After I was born, my mom was in the room and they were trying to think of a name. And at that point, they had a speech. Ronald Reagan was making a speech. That's how I got my name.
I'm not
Literally.
surprised.
Oh wow.
You're like the second person I've met that said the same thing. They're
Yeah.
named Ronald, and they were named after Ronald Reagan
Yeah.
because he was a very likable president. A lot of people liked Ronald Reagan, and I did too. I grew up watching him on TV, and then he was funny and all this stuff. He had charisma, so I like. Even now, I can agree with a lot of his policies. Right, looking back, but I still go. But I liked him as a president.
Mhm.
He was likable. Him and his wife, Nancy Reagan, and all that. So, but I was told, that Democrats are, they give you jobs and they help black people, and Republicans take your jobs, and they're racist. That was it. That's what I was taught. So I wasn't supposed to like Ronald Reagan, right? That was the mindset growing up, and I saw it everywhere and I heard it everywhere. And I don't know, maybe I'm an anomaly, I guess, but by the time I hit college, I just wasn't enamored with that. I just didn't care. I wanted to think for myself, you know. And I voted for Ross Perot, like just as an example, right? When he
Uh,
ran, I voted
I
for
know
him.
it
I like
is.
I liked Ross Perot. He was I think he tried to run for president on the was he did he try to run as a Republican or was he a independent? I can't remember. I think he was independent.
I think he was independent. I want to
Yeah,
say he was
but
independent.
I voted for Ross Perot. I liked Ross Perot because I liked the fact that he was independent. I've never liked either side politically, right? Because I always thought, well, I think they're both kind of manipulated. And so I voted for Ron Paul twice, right? Because I like Ron Paul, right? So it's like I don't know how, but somehow I broke free of that left versus right. But in any case, it's like, but it is something I've observed growing up. I'm over 50 now, and so yeah, I've known a lot of people, a lot of black people who are flat out racist and they just hate white people, and some who just hold to, you know, this sort of moderate perception that well, yeah, they're
Is there
not all bad, but
anybody?
So
Is there any?
I'll say two things. One, I mean, so when I was in the Air Force, and I think I've told you this before, Dad, but when I was in the Air Force, one of my friends in boot camp, he was from West Virginia. I think he was from a place called Eleanor. So I don't know if anyone's familiar with Eleanor, they'll know that it's a sundown town.
yeah,
And
yeah,
but this guy was like one of the he was one of my best friends at boot camp. We used to play 20 questions and talk about like he would talk about his fate Greek like his favorite Greek philosophers, and he always sang opera when he rolled his socks, and he was just a character. And he convinced his fiance to write letters to me because I wasn't getting any letters in boot camp, and
He seemed like a nice guy, right?
yeah, he introduced me to his fiance. He was like, "Yeah, this is the guy you were writing letters who's writing your letters," and he didn't have to do that. Um, and he's by all metrics, right? He should have been racist,
right,
but he just wasn't. The only when I was in the hospital, when I got out of the hospital uh, at the end of my service, the only people who came to check on me were two white guys from upstate New York, and you know, and
Hmm.
they drove cross country. They drove from another state just to make sure I was still alive.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, because they're normal human beings, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm
and
saying.
I'll say this. Before I knew who Charlie Kirk was, I knew of a man named Daryl Davis. So if you don't know who Daryl Davis is, he's a blues singer. He's a blues R&B singer, He's played with BB King and Chuck Berry and all that stuff. But he's not.
Oh
He's
yeah,
more famous
oh, it
for
is. Yeah,
yeah. He's more famous for being the guy who regularly talks to clans people.
that's
This is
right.
a very famous photo uh, of him, and he literally, he goes and he just talks to people he knows that are in the clan, and he talks to them like, why do you hate black people?
Right,
And just from having these conversations, he's supposedly at the time uh, that they wrote the article, which was, I want to say, about, yeah, this is almost a decade ago.
yeah.
Um, he convinced over 200 Klansmen to retire from the Klan just from talking to them.
Just
He made a
having,
Uh,
difference.
yeah, just having a conversation. I mean, and that's kind of, you know, what's so powerful about that, right? And we look at Charlie Kirk, who's pretty much doing the same thing, right? He, just talking to people, and that's the case with a lot of these. We call them talking heads, I guess, or influencers, or a lot of these guys out there who are, like a Steven Crowder, they're out there talking to people and having conversations because they understand that interacting with people and see talking to them in person goes a long way, right? When Because it's different when you can just be this invisible person behind the keyboard and you say these things, or you call people names and call them Nazis and whatnot. It's easy to do that, right? It's easy, but when you have to look someone in the eye, right, and see their reaction to you treating them like garbage, you know, and you have, it's like it's a different dynamic, right? And that's why, I've seen a lot of these clips from Steven Crowder, and actually before Charlie Kirk, I was aware of him. I was aware of Steven Crowder doing "Change My Mind," right, and all that stuff. So I've seen a lot of his clips, and like some, he shares a lot of the behind the scenes stuff where in between those conversations, he gets people that act out, that come up to his table and try to flip his table and grab the mic and all this stuff and call him names and try to confront him and pick a fight. It's craziness, right? Because it is different. It's different when you're talking to someone versus, sitting at a computer, you know, and that's how powerful it is. And they're the only ones I see doing this stuff, you know, um, and it goes a long way. It makes a difference, and I think that's why, that's at least one reason why he was murdered is
I
because
mean,
he
I,
was
I'll,
making a
I'll,
real
I'll, I'll,
difference.
I'll say this now. Charlie Kirk is a better man than I am.
He's a better man than all of us,
Yeah.
and that's facts. Because he did the hard work of going out there and boots on the ground, talking to people and dealing with a lot of crap. You know, and but he was effective and he made a difference for a lot of people. Even now, even after his death, a lot of people. I've seen a few people post and saying, "Hey, I think I'm gonna start going to church. I think I'm gonna start."
Well, they essentially succeeded in making him a martyr.
Yeah, they did, and no doubt. I mean, who knows? At the end of the day, I hope more information comes out about who and the why. But yeah, and some are trying to argue he's not because they're trying to hold to this false narrative that he was this hateful, racist, far right, whatever, and it's like, bro, this guy is a martyr. Like
Yeah.
he died because of what he believed in
It's when
relation
you
to
when
what is
when
right.
you really think about it, the story of Charlie Kirk mirrors very biblical, very biblical. Like it's the kind of story you would expect to read in the Bible.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. It's definitely approaching that because it's like I
Hmm.
don't know. Like I'm looking at, I'm just like, what did this guy do? You know, it's
he
just
talked
doesn't
to people.
it doesn't make any. It's like it's one thing to see a leader of a country, and someone tries to kill that leader. It's like, well, that person holds the highest office in the land. right? So there's obviously going to be some type of political benefit, right? The motivation, I guess, seems tenable, right? Regardless of how whether you like the leader or not, right? Whether you like Trump or not, it's kind of like, yeah, he's a target regardless because he's the president. But Charlie Kirk had no leadership position outside of his organization, right? But like he's not in Congress. He's not, you know, he's he's just a
Well, but
guy.
I think they saw him as a threat for what the future might hold for him.
No doubt. Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, that's the only thing that makes any sense, to be honest. Outside of just saying, yeah, this kid was just he was in his leftist echo chamber
It's
and
sort of the
got,
opposite of
got
like it's
riled
the
up and.
it's the opposite of like if you could go back in time and kill Hitler before he got into power, you know.
Yeah, well, no doubt that's part of the mentality because that's literally what they do is they accuse him and others who hold to his views to hold to that hold to basic common sense, right, and Christian ethic that we're Hitler,
You know, it's ironic because
especially if
Charlie
you're
Kirk,
white.
if Charlie Kirk had the ability to travel back in time and speak with Adolf Hitler before he got into power, he wouldn't kill him. He would speak with him.
Exactly, right. You wouldn't, but I think to your point, yeah, I think that's the mentality though. Even with the shooter, I wouldn't be surprised. That's what he was going for. Is he's going to be Hitler? So let me take him out before he becomes Hitler, because that's the narrative that's getting pushed and propagated, at least on social media and even in the mainstream news. That if you are a Trump supporter, if you are a Republican, if you are a Christian conservative, and especially if you're white, you are Hitler, or you support Hitler, or you would have supported Hitler, and therefore it's justified to treat you terribly and call you names. And now we can actually harm you and kill you, right? Because you would have been Hitler. This is the mentality that's being perpetuated, and it's horrible. It's deplorable,
Hmm.
and it needs to stop, right? It needs to be shut down. And I'm not talking about censorship. I'm talking about people just speaking up and holding these people accountable and shaming them for this type of rhetoric, and calling them out and saying, and that's been happening, thankfully. Stephen King, you know uh, he was forced to apologize because he's posting that Charlie Kirk advocated for stoning gays, right? And he had to backpedal on that. And, I even commented on his thread when he apologized, and I told him, "You're too old to be this stupid."
Yeah.
He really is. Him, Mark Hamill, and a lot of these guys. It's like, you're too old to be this stupid. It's okay if you disagree with him, but to latch on to this nonsense so easily, like, what's wrong with you? You're too old for this. You're supposed to be the source of wisdom, not foolishness. And here we are. These guys are up here posting this stuff willy nilly, making these comments, and then having to backpedal. It's shameful. It really is. It's disappointing. It's shameful. And it's frustrating. I'm tired of seeing it, to be perfectly honest. You know, I'm just like, these guys, they get on here and they say all kinds of nonsense. You know, and I'm like, you wouldn't dare say that to my face. You know, I
All
know they
right,
would.
all right, fellas. I actually have to get going because I got to be somewhere. Uh,
Yeah, man. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
oh
It's
man,
been a great
always.
good to
conversation.
see you as always.
Yeah, it's always great to have you,
Yeah,
man. I hope we can
it's
have you again soon. So
yeah. Well, hopefully that my next Saturday off, I'll see if I can come on
yeah,
again.
let me know, man. Same bat time, same bat channel.
All right. You guys have a great rest of your day. You guys have
You
more of
as
the day
well.
left than I do.
Yeah, man. You too. You
All
have a
right,
good one.
man.
Have a super galactic Saturday. All right.
Thank you. You too. Thank you so much.
All right.
Later,
Take
guys.
care.
But yeah, I mean, we're at what 12:40, so yeah, we could probably go ahead and call it a day. You got anything else you want to add?
I mean, I said everything that uh, I wanted to say. Um, there's a lot more I could say, but I can't really say it without getting too emotional about it. So
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to keep going on because yeah, it's infuriating. So, but rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Um, I pray the Lord bless his wife and kids, and that He comforts them during this trying time. And the rest of his family. I believe his parents are still alive as well. So I pray that the Lord will comfort them as well. And because this is terrible, and I pray that God blesses his family. So and I pray that for the rest of you guys, thanks for tuning in. I pray that the Lord bless you as well. And if you, whether you like Charlie Kirk or not, really doesn't matter. The key is why don't you? If you don't like him, why don't you like him? And is it based on what's true? That's really it. It's. I'm not trying to tell you you should like someone or dislike someone. I'm saying whichever way you go, it needs to be based on what's true. And if it's not true, then you need to reevaluate your own mindset and your own perception of things because that's dangerous. It's dangerous to hate someone based on false pretense, and it's dangerous to like someone based on false pretense. You understand? Like a lot of people love Trump, right? But they love him for the wrong reasons. They think he's one thing and he's not, right? Just as there's those who hate him because they think he's one thing and he's not. So you have two sides of the same coin. You understand? So that's my only thing to you guys out there is seek what is true, right? Seek the truth, and the truth, for me, for my beliefs and my worldview, is Christ, right? It's the Word of God, and if you seek the truth, it's gonna. If you really earnestly seek it, it's gonna. You're gonna eventually find Jesus. You're gonna find the Savior because He is the ultimate truth. So seek truth and love and with earnestness, and you'll find it. So make it a super galactic Saturday. Thanks for joining us.
we'll see you around.